Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with 3 S's. I'm your host, Chantele Francis, here for a special podcast of our Snubbed ERAS cast list. What could have happened for season 40? People that are not on the current list for season 40 and their alternates. And with me to talk it all through is Michelle. How's it going, Michelle?
It's great. I mean, every time I take a moment to really look again at the cast for season 40, I just am so I can't believe this is actually a season that's going to happen. It's going to be exciting regardless, I think. And so I'm so excited about it. But then looking back at all these other names that could have been also made me equally nostalgic.
100%. Matthew, you're smiling already. What is it from the nostalgia?
No,
Is it from
honestly, Michelle kind of took the words out of my mouth where you look at the cast and it's like, holy shit, how do they put together such an iconic cast? And then going through this and trying to piece together the next 40, it's like not only did the cast they put together mostly hits, but there's just so many good people that are not on the cast and that we'll realistically never see again. And to go back and those people on a list was really fun and gave me such bad FOMO of what could have been not only this season, but some of these people that we haven't seen in 15 years. It's like, damn, what could their challenge career have been? So it's gonna be fun to talk it out and see who we all have on our list, who's different. Get the chat involved to see if they can break any ties so we can put together a final cast here.
cast of
Yeah.
snubs? We could also talk about maybe if they were contacted and if how much money they were offered and maybe turned down. So we can also bring that into the conversation as to why we're not seeing them. But yeah, I think it'll be a fun time just discussing this potential cast. I too was pretty nostalgic. I was like, damn, the challenge is a good show. It's so fun. I've had so many good memories with over the years. I've literally lived 4 decades with some version of the challenge or these people. And so it's kind of nice to go back because it reminds me of my youth when I was really invested and watching the Real World and Road Rules and the beginning of the challenge. So I liked it. I liked looking back. And so looking back today is going to be a fun time. So
Yeah,
the challenge, go ahead.
So to go over how I went about it initially. So we had talked about potentially doing this I think last week, and ultimately we pushed back to today. So I started to go through the list and the challenge wiki, starting from season 1. It's all right, I had a list of 85 people, not including the 40 that are on the cast. So that would be 125. And I'm like, okay, well, 85 is just way too many. So I ultimately cut it down to I have 64 people right now, but the way that I cut it was I did it by the eras. So I have my final 40, and then I have a list of 12 people that would realistically never do it. But I still have them on a list, and I'm more than happy to replace some people on my list with those people that would never say yes. And then I have 12 honorable mentions as well.
I'm
So I'm not going to
obsessed.
focus on that. But yeah, I mean, I've been plugging away at this since I think Wednesday of last week, and I keep making small edits, but I'm locked in, I think. And when we get to some of the people that it's hey, I obviously would have them on my list, but I didn't put them because they would never say yes.
Yeah.
I'll mention them and obviously we don't need to be super realistic here, but I try to be as realistic as possible.
My list is not realistic at all. It's a mixture of people who would come back, people who would never come back, and probably too many of some eras and not enough of other eras. So I love how much detail you put into this. I'm very excited.
I'll send you guys my spreadsheet after. You'll see.
Hearing the word spreadsheet makes me laugh.
It's color coded too. It's I went all out for this one.
Will you do this for our draft? So, please.
Well, the thing for our
Yeah.
draft is it's much easier for the draft because like there's only 40 names. So at least
Only
I don't have to
40
That's
narrow it
why,
names.
down.
like, before when it's like 24 days, I'm like, oh my god, there's so many names. Keep track of those points. So annoying.
Yeah.
But
But here it was like, I mean, there's got to be 500 people that have been on the challenge, if not more. So it's, yeah, this was a fun one. And I still
definitely.
have a lot of very random people on my list. And you guys are going to be like, what the fuck are you thinking?
Well,
I have one or two of those that I'm like, okay, they don't even really count as like an icon, but to me, like they're an icon.
well, also though,
Mhm.
there's some areas where you're like, well, they could have gotten the, oh, they really could have gotten the, oh yeah, they could have gotten the call. So basically, maybe we're just going to present like one at a time a person, and if we don't all have it on our list, then maybe we'll like dispute who we think should be on over them.
Yeah.
You think
Do you
that
want
will
to do
work?
it by era, like
Yeah,
by
by era.
era?
I think by era
We'll
would be
start.
the easiest.
Should we start with era 1 or era 4?
Ooh.
Maybe era 4.
And just go backwards,
Yeah, because
back
it'll
in
get
time.
better
Yeah,
as it goes. Like
because
it'll
yeah,
get
the
more nostalgic as it goes.
Okay, yeah, let's start with most recent, more so the who cares, not that much. There are a lot of people in eras 4, to be fair,
Yeah.
but yeah, we could start there and work our way back so that it gets real nostalgia.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so who wants to start then? Who's going first?
I think Matthew should start.
I can
Matthew.
go first. So I'll go with my so it's 5 men, 5 women. Do we want to do men or women first? Because
Let's go men first.
men first. Okay, so my 5th man who just made the cut. I
Fifth.
don't
Oh
think
my
you
god.
guys will have him here, but
Okay.
I have I actually did put Fessy as my 5th man here.
Oh right, he's not on this
Um
season. I forgot about him.
yeah, he's an alternate, so I included alternates, but
Okay.
I just
I
think
didn't.
Fessy is a pretty solid choice to like be going against like greats. Obviously, in this cast, like he's not going to be going against all the greats, but I just think Fessy is like someone like has made like a decent name for himself and like physically is obviously there. So he's my number 5 man.
I didn't put Fessy just for the fact that he kinda is on this season. So I didn't look necessarily at the alternates. But I think he definitely deserves to be asked on the cast. He's not my favorite person entertainment-wise, but when he's single, he can be messy Fessy, and we do love it. And so yeah, he's not my favorite person, but he deserves to be getting the call. So him being an alternate is actually surprising to me.
Yeah. I honestly think the reason I mentioned this to you guys, I think the reason he's an alternate is I actually think tier 4 would be a little too strong if he was on there, like instead of Josh, let's say. Like if you have
Mm.
Fessy, Horacio, Kylan, Turbo, sorry, not Turbo,
Oh yeah, where's
Polly,
Turbo?
and Theo, that's like a very strong set of men, and then like the women, like obviously are pretty strong too. In Olivia, Nerys, who else is there? Michelle, Lydia, and Jenny. So I just think like Fessy being there puts tier 4 at like a pretty big advantage physically, and I don't think the show wants tier 4 to do well.
Google Gabble here says that he's more entertaining than Emmanuel. Facts.
I mean, facts. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's come on.
Hi,
Um,
chat. Oh, somebody in the chat. Did you? I don't know if because you're usually pretty up on things, Matthew. Is saying that an episode of All Stars got leaked onto Paramount Plus.
I saw something on Twitter, like there was like a screenshot. I didn't know if it was the episode or if it was just like the description of the episode, but it was like season 4, episode 5, and there was like a description for it. I don't know. I have no idea if the actual episode
I
was
think
leaked
it
or just the
was somebody
description.
had said that they did watch it. So
Oh, interesting.
okay, well, I don't know who keeps on doing this at Paramount Plus. Is it to like get some excitement because it's since been deleted apparently?
yeah. Seems you know,
A little sus.
calculated. Um, are we going like one at a time
Yeah, let's go one at a
okay?
time. So,
I
what do you
have
think about
one.
Fessy? Do you have Fessy on
Oh,
yours?
Fessy was not on my list, but I understand why. It makes sense. He's done multiple seasons of the new era. He's a strong competitor. He's done multiple finals. Um, but I'm glad he's not on it. He's an alternate, but it would make sense if he was. So
Agreed. He's not on my list, but I told you before. It's because he's already kind of on this season. Someone in the chat was also mentioning that he might be practicing Ramadan right now, and so maybe that's why he's an alternate as opposed to be on the cast. But Matthew, I think that your rationale is a little bit more feasible. That might make Era 4 a little bit too stacked with the youngest people and like the most fit people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I have someone from Era 4 that I think would be great. That is Kyle.
Kyle Christie.
Kyle Christie, because he's like strong, but he's not like crazy strong. And he has done like 7 seasons. He's done multiple finals. He's actually kind of been close to winning before. So I think he's a snub for me.
I have Kyle on my list 100%. I definitely think that Kyle was a snub here. You know, he hooks up, he gets messy, he does win, he is decently loyal, he'll get into fight. Like he's kind of a perfect challenger, to be honest. He's willing to play. He's got an accent. He would help some of like the UK players, you know, just have some traction. So I think Kyle is a great pick, and he would have been great on the season. So he did just have a baby, but I feel like he was saying that he wanted to come back. So not sure why he wasn't there.
Yeah, Kyle was the number 2 man on my like Era 4 list. So like, definitely like snub. Like I was shocked that he wasn't on the cast. And I think like this is someone like for our like mock cast here, like plug him in like 100%. I don't think anyone's gonna argue Kyle should not be there. I mean, Kyle should have been on the real cast, let alone like the next 40. So Kyle, like everything you said, like he's entertaining. He has like he's not afraid to start shit, good physically, really good in eliminations, is like someone that's capable of winning too. Like he can win a final, no doubt. So I think like Kyle is just, and he's also like one of the best, if not the best, UK person that's been on the show. So I think the season 40 cast might be lacking like a little bit in the UK department. Seeing as they brought in so many people from the UK over the last 5 years, the fact that they only have like I think 2 of them on the actual cast, I think is a little bit of a miss there.
I agree. I agree. So Kyle makes the cut. What position we want to put it? Like number 1? He's the number 1 draft pick here, or does it just not matter?
I don't know. Yeah, I didn't rank
don't think it
mine,
matters.
but
okay.
I did rank mine, but like I'll just say where mine are ranked when we talk about them.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna
Kyle's
put
made it.
for my next person. You did mention him. I don't know if he'll be back. He's the last season that he was on, I don't think he got a fair shot here for the fact that the house was completely against him. It's because he's super duper strong. He came on his first season and won. He might be a little bit too much of a loose cannon for MTV, but I think Turbo deserves a bit of a call because that would be wild. I would like to see him on a season where he's not everyone's enemy, where people want to be working with him, but people wanted to have him on their team because he's going to help them win some of these things. And so I did want to see how Turbo was going to do on the last season on Ride or Die, but you know, he was against everybody in the house, and with the format, they were able to help the people that they were going with it against in the elimination. So he really didn't have a chance at winning, especially against the golden children of Horacio and Olivia in 38. So I think Turbo deserved a call. I know that he's not, you know, American, and so maybe they didn't want to make it too international, but especially since they just had someone internationally win season 39. So maybe that's why they were kind of easing out from having someone from another country. But I think that he should have gotten a call.
I don't know. I mean, I see what you're saying. I just think that I've never seen any actual gameplay from him that I've thought is like something I ever want to watch.
You don't think eating a whole chicken and running on the treadmill is gameplay?
Like his like the way that he interacts with people is just like, even going down to the fact that he went completely against Nani in that elimination. Like that just shows such a lack of understanding of how the game is played strategically. And so to me, I would be annoyed if he had gotten a call for this season, in my opinion. I'm not saying I could never see him again necessarily, but for this particular epicness, I don't know. But I don't know. I'm on
He's
the fence.
also a winner.
I know,
Yeah.
totally.
I
Yes.
mean, I'm
So's Emmanuel.
fully, yeah, well, I'm fully with
He's not on my
Chantele here,
list.
actually. Turbo was my number one, man, for Era 4. For me, like, I also have my overall rankings. Like, I had Turbo 4th overall from any era and number one for Era 4. I just think, like, I get what you're saying. Like, he's not like a strategy guy, and he is just such a loose cannon that I want to see that on my TV again. Like, I want to see him in a physical elimination. Like, we've only seen him in one elimination, and it was a puzzle where the whole house helped his opponent. Uh,
That's true.
like Turbo is the kind of guy where he says like, I want to go into every elimination and like knock you out, and I actually believe that, and I want to see that. So for me, he is definitely a loose cannon. I would not want to be in a house with him, but
I
I
want
want
to
to
watch
see
it.
him
You want to
against
watch
like
other
the
people in
greatest.
a house with him.
Yeah, like I want to see people have to navigate that because it is like, to me, like someone like that, it's kind of like an Abby Maria in Survivor, where it's like
Mhm.
it adds an extra element of strategy because you have to deal with navigating that person. And to me, that's just so interesting. Personally, I know it's not for everyone, but for me, I love those people where you have to plan your whole game around like what will they do, and if I say the wrong thing, they will screw up my whole game. So for like strategy heads, someone like Turbo is just like so it's such a like a potential like deterrence to your game. And then if you try to take a shot at him and you miss, you're screwed. And that's something else I would love to see.
You make a
Uh,
very good argument,
I mean,
actually.
2-1 at this point. I think that
No,
Turbo would
I'm
make this list.
convinced. I'm convinced. You convinced me.
He would be good. Like, I think he's a better version
I
of
think he would. The
Emmanuel.
chaos, the
Yeah,
chaos.
he
Because
brings
then
chaos.
there's
People
no
are
chance.
terrified of him.
There's no chance for like certain groups to run things perfectly and have it be boring.
That's true.
So that's a fair point.
Mr. Disaster thinks that he is the Hulk of the challenge. Kind of.
Honestly,
Kind
yeah.
of. Okay, do I go next? Okay, we'll just do a Z, a snake. I don't know if I want this person on. It could be that I just didn't see other people in this era, and I just kind of went with my first few. Um, is he on this? Actually, no. Okay, I'm gonna go Pauly Calafiore because he is not on the list, right? It's just
No,
Carm.
Polly's on the actual
Polly's
cast.
on the
Oh,
actual
he's on it?
cast.
Okay, never
Yeah.
mind. Then it sent me someone even more annoying, and that is Hunter.
Well, Hunter's you got the wrong tier for Hunter, for
Really?
wrong era.
He started in the
Yeah,
era before?
yeah. Hunter would be the
Oh,
20s.
well, he didn't make that list then. Hold on. I'll put him just
I
beside
had Hunter as an honorable mention for the 20s. He
Hunter.
was he was honestly my first honorable mention for the 20s, but he just missed my list.
Okay, well then another honorable mention who went into it came in as a mercenary, and or was he as a mercenary? Is that how it went down? I can't remember now, actually. But I'm gonna go with another a hottie from the UK, and that is Joss Mooney. I mean, he's a little bit boring,
my list.
but I think that he would hook up. He is very athletic. He has a lot of, I don't know, CrossFit like exercise modeling and feature videos on his social media. I don't mind seeing Joss Mooney again. I think that he could have gotten a call for some of these places on this season.
Yeah,
I
I'm
agree.
really like I'm not a Joss guy myself. I didn't have him on my list or honorable mentions. Like I get the appeal. Like obviously like in terms of like physically great, it's like he will hook up. To me, it's just like I can't get past like the boring factor. So I personally didn't have him on my list, but I get the appeal for sure.
I feel like, I mean, if he had got a
Yeah.
little bit of like taste for success, like maybe he would get, like, he just didn't have a good run his first season.
He
So I
really
think that,
didn't get, yeah.
yeah. So anyways, Michelle, did you have him on your list?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, so he might make the cut here. Okay.
Well, no, the thing for me is that like I didn't have a lot of like I don't have a perfect list, especially when it comes to the men. I don't have a full roster. So, um yeah, I thought of Joss. He's not the most like dramatic or like chaotic, but I do feel like he deserves another chance. But I know he said he won't return, but
Well, he's gonna make the list, unfortunately. Sorry,
all right.
Matthew. We have Joss Mooney on here. People are saying that he said that he would never return. I think it's just because he was embarrassed his first showing, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure he was called for 39. Like it would be weird if he wasn't almost. And
Yeah.
I think there were rumors that he was called, but I don't know. Like people say they'll never return, and then they return a couple seasons later, sometimes the next season, a la Leroy.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked if we do see Joss at some point down the road, like 2, 3 years from now. Like he's obviously still young. He's like, I'm sure he'll still be in great shape in 2 years. So I would not rule out us seeing him at some point again.
Debu thinks that he's too stacked. So maybe that's why he didn't get the call, but I think he's just not interested. Okay, Michelle, who do you got?
Uh does it have to be a guy?
Yeah, we'll just finish the
Okay.
guys.
Um who is actually from and we're not doing CBS.
Mm, unless they've already appeared on MTV.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Huey. I love Huey, and I don't like a lot of the new era guys uh enough that they came to mind, but Huey came to mind because he's so entertaining, and I just think he'd be a great addition to our cast.
Yeah,
But you
I mean, I
didn't pick
obviously
someone else.
I love Huey as much as anyone. I think he was like one of the people I was most excited for. I unfortunately didn't have him on my list just because like
Wow.
I don't think he made like enough of an impression. Like for me, he did, but like for the show to get a call back and the fact that he did get that second chance and it kind of went nowhere also.
True.
I to me there was like I actually have someone that I'll actually reveal next that is in a similar mold in terms of like did not go very far, but they didn't get a second chance. The fact that Huey played twice and kind of went home like around the same time both times, I unfortunately left him off my list, but I do love Huey so much.
No, I'm down to vote for other ideas. I just, yeah, you tell me.
I didn't put Huey on this list, but I definitely think that Huey is he's fun to have on these seasons. I'm not surprised that he didn't make the cut for the 40,
No,
but
I'm
I
not
think he'll be
surprised.
called again for a future season. Like I don't think that he's out of mind for a future season. I think that he just might be just a little bit shy of getting the call for this one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a little worried we'll never see Huey again, to be honest. I hope we do. Like give him another shot, like 41, 42. I'm nervous that like they're gonna kind of lose his number and look at him as like someone that's not like physically capable enough. And I don't even think he's incapable physically, to be honest, but like I don't know. I worry we'll never see him again. I hope I'm wrong though. And I hope he does get that call down the road.
Don't we all? Okay, so Matthew, who do you have instead?
Okay. So I guess I have my last two guys here because my first three were Fessy at 5, Turbo at 1, Kyle at 2. So I have my 3-4 here. My fourth guy, you guys will definitely not have him, but I actually put Corey Lay. Um, I think
Oh,
like good representation, obviously like active like in the LGBT community, was kind of like playing this last season for um Black LGBT members. So I think like he is good representation. I think he obviously showed a lot more this season. I was more impressed with him than I know you two were in terms of like his gameplay, especially towards the end. Um,
okay.
and just yeah, going through the list of the 30s, I thought Corey like physically like stood out. Obviously, like representation stood out, and I do think he will be back in the mix down the road. So that's probably why I put him over Huey here, just because I like we've seen more out of him in terms of like strategy and physically, obviously. So
Yeah,
he was my
I
number
agree with
four
that.
guy.
I agree with that.
He
He's
wasn't on
definitely.
my list, but like honestly, like I was just like going through and just being like, okay, yeah, oh, that person. Like I wasn't necessarily really thinking super hard about it. I agree with you that I think that he should have gotten a call here. But maybe they didn't want it to be too stacked, like you said again. Maybe they're recognizing that he wasn't that much of a favorite amongst a lot of people. Um, he was
Yeah.
coming for Big T and Melissa. It seems like they made up, but like every time he gets on Twitter, like he just annoys me even. Every time I'm like, okay, he's not that bad. I can ease into liking him. And then he does says something and I'm like, oh no, never mind. Like it's annoying. I don't want to see him again. So I'm wondering if maybe even production are having this like love-hate relationship with him. And then they're recognizing that the fan are having the love-hate relationship with him. So I think that he deserves a call for the fact that like he is very physical and he is creating some drama and he wants to be there and he's a fan, but I, I'm just not sure if he was going to get the call for 40 just because he was so polarizing with how people were viewing him as a
Well,
player.
I don't think he should have been on 40 for sure. But for the next 40, for the 80, he
It's a
gets my
call for
spot in the
80.
80.
Yeah.
And he is lower. He is
Well,
lower. Like he's my number four guy for. So he's yeah number four guy for this era. So he's lower there. And but I get what you're saying. Like I don't. Yeah, no way he should have been on actual
uh,
40.
Corey said he dropped out of season 40
yeah,
apparently.
I heard that
I'm sh-
too.
I'm sure he was in the mix. Like he probably got like an availability call. I don't know if he would have made it
Yeah.
though.
I'm curious before we solidify on him because I'm down, but I'm curious what your number three was first because we only have one more
Yeah.
spot
So
left, right?
Two spots. Well,
um,
one if we choose Corey.
so my number
Oh,
three is kind of what I was referring to about Huey, where this person didn't go far, but what they bring to the table and the potential is just so great. Um, so my three is like a personal favorite of mine, Johnny Middlebrooks. Um, like obviously he wasn't going to be on actual 40, but it's like
Let's
someone that
put
I think
Johnny down because I forgot about him. Like people that weren't, I just it wasn't front of mind. These newer people. So yeah, I'll take
yeah.
Johnny Brooks for sure.
Yeah, for me, like Johnny is just like the perfect challenger that like was gone way too soon on his one
yeah,
season. Like he
yeah.
hooked up, he had multiple hookup storylines. He
In
was
like
not
two
afraid to
weeks.
take big swings at vets. Uh, on his other shows, he has many hookup plots. So he is definitely someone not afraid to like shake things up strategically and with women on the show. So I'm really disappointed he wasn't on 39. And I honestly think if he had a good run on 39, he's someone that could and would have been on the actual cast of 40, like maybe in place of like a Horacio or a Kylan. Um, so I personally just love this guy just based off the mess that he brings to life and to like any show that he steps foot on.
Yeah, I
For that.
mean, we know Johnny is like the messiest male that we've seen in a while. He's shameless in his mess. He's very attractive. Um, I'm wondering if it's maybe his baby was born. I'm not sure why he didn't get the call. Maybe again, your reasoning, can't have Era 4 be super stacked. That could be a reason. But they have keep on seemingly been dropping him a few times in these cast lists. So I don't know if he's pissing someone off or if some conflicts come up or why he hasn't been on a couple of other casts. But I think that he deserves a call for this one because he would be someone that messes things up. He would be, I think he's probably on good terms with Nerys. So he would be helpful to Nerys doing well. I don't think he's going to, I mean, he's the type also that would be the messy one and just put her out as well. So I don't know. We don't know what we'd get with him, which is kind of the fun of having him on the season. So I didn't have him on my list, but I would have him on my list.
Totally.
Totally.
That's all the guys I have. I have a couple honorable mentions. I don't know if
Who do you
either
got?
of you were going to mention them, but
Okay.
I guess on
Feel
to you guys.
free.
Those, my 5 guys are done.
Yeah, I don't have. Yeah,
I
feel free
mean,
to.
I have other people, but like it was just because I was just writing like, okay, I need more names. Michelle will not like this. Okay, Michelle, who do you think that I would put down that you would definitely not like? I think he's from this era.
Zach. Oh no, he's
Oh
from
no,
the
he's from the
previous
era
era.
before.
Who would I not like? I mean, there's so many. Oh, like Emmanuel or
No, not Emmanuel. I met
Asaf?
his. Oh God, not him. No.
Jay? I don't know.
No. I mean, okay. Well, it's this guy.
Oh,
He was on my
Rogan.
honorable mention. He was one of the 2 honorable mentions I had for the men. So yeah, I did not have him on, but like I also get the appeal. Like he's a winner, he's strong, he causes drama. He's a bit more of like to me, he's just more of like an asshole version of Johnny Middlebrooks. Like Johnny like comes off as like playful, where
yeah.
Rogan it's like comes off a little darker. So I'm not as big of a fan of Rogan, but
Agreed.
like for like entertainment, like he does provide. So he was on my honorable mention list.
Okay, and then also, I didn't remember him, but Kells is someone that people are mentioning. How
He
do
was
we?
on my list as well initially, but like he just because of the strength factor and stuff, but I don't know.
Should we put Kells
And I
in?
liked him. I wouldn't put him in over Johnny Middlebrook though.
Oh, no, Brandon Bill
Or
Lucas
or
is in.
yeah, I wouldn't put him over Corey either.
Okay, so you say that we should put Corey Lay in. That's he's making the cut for this list.
I would put Corey
My
definitely
only
over Kells. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my only other honorable mention was Jay. Just like I'm not a big fan, but like obviously like he's a villain, like he provides, like he has made a name for himself. So I put him on an honorable mention list. Thing is like if you have Turbo on the cast, like you already have a villain there. Like Johnny Middlebrooks is kind of a villain, so I don't think you necessarily need Jay as like a third villain on like the era 4 men. Like I think there'll be plenty of other villains on the
Yeah.
cast.
Kells wants Josh and Fessy's head. Okay.
So put him with Festi. That could be fun. Um, yeah.
I'd
Yeah,
take
I think
Kells
Jay
over
needs a break
Jay.
too. That's why I also like kept Jay off the list.
Yeah.
And put some other people on. Like Jay needs a break. Like we'll see him again, but honorable mention Jay for me.
Maya says Jay over Kells, and I hate Jay. Whoa. What did
I would
Kells
personally have
do?
Jay over Kells. Just
Because he's going to bring something. Kells is a little bit, you know, even tempered.
yeah.
Okay,
We don't
so
like those even tempered characters.
so we're saying then our list, I didn't put them in no particular order here, is Turbo, Kyle, Joss, Johnny Middlebrooks, and Corey Lay is our guys that we think should have been on season 40. Or could have been. Whatever we're calling it. The snub list. We're good with that?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
We got the men there.
Michelle, you want to start the ladies? Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Bear with me. If I say a name and they're not from this era, just let me know, obviously.
Say with me.
I'm gonna say. Oh, they're probably not. They're probably from before. Oh, Melissa.
Oh yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
so
Listen,
Melissa was she was my number 6. Like she was literally the first person of any era that I had off the list. Um, so she was like the last cut that I made. I totally see, like, obviously Melissa's like a great fit on any season, like could have been on 40. Um, so it was that was like one of the tough cuts for me, but I
Oh my
just
god.
cut her off the list.
Wow. I do have Melissa on my list. So, Matthew, we might be doing the Lord's work for you. And Melissa would make our snub list here because we have to have Melissa. I mean, I know we want to have people that are super strong and be able to like take on era 1, but we also need people that are entertaining, people that are willing to go against the grains, shake up the status quo here, and she's willing to put herself in that direction. She doesn't play scared at all, and I think we need that in these seasons. It sucks that it didn't really work out for her on season 39, her and Big T, but I think that I want to see her try again. Like, I like seeing her put in work to try to do better in the season, do better in the game. She wants to strategize. She wants to hook up. She wants to, win money for a good cause, her daughter. And so I would love to see Melissa on this season. Surprised she didn't
So
get called.
yeah, I'm a bit surprised as well. So the person I put over Melissa, and again, like I imagine this person will not be on your list, but kind of coincides with Melissa. I actually put Raven as my 5th female instead of Melissa. Obviously, they had their big fight. Melissa's done a few more seasons, so like I don't know if that's like something in her favor or not. I just think for me, like the only reason I went Raven instead of Melissa was I feel like Raven really showed a lot this past season. And I'm like more intrigued to see like where she takes that moving forward. And I do think she's like similar in the vein that like she is willing to fight, like she hooks up as well. She can be very messy, like not very like politically savvy, which makes for good TV sometimes. I figured Raven would be like someone that wouldn't actually make our list, but I personally just put her as my number 5 female, just ahead of Melissa. But I guess she's probably not on your list.
I forgot about like the people that played this last season. I really didn't think about them. And so it wasn't until somebody in the chat said, "Oh, Raven," I was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot about her." And so I do agree that she's strong. I guess for me, I want somebody a little bit more entrenched in the challenge. Like, it just annoys me a little bit that they just don't know the seasons. They don't know the game. They haven't been on that many. It's just a little bit annoying for 40 for me. That she's still such a rookie in that sense. And so as much as like I really was impressed by her, I think that she should get the call for 41. I believe that she also did get the call for 30, but she had 30 or 40, but she had school, so she declined. Um, I just, I'm just not that plus about her for 40.
she was definitely someone I was thinking about. Um, but I don't want to make a decision yet till I hear the rest of the options.
Yeah, I mean, we'll make the final decision once we go
Yeah.
through all the women. Chantel,
Yeah.
who's
Who's your next pick? Yeah.
one of yours?
Okay, hold on. Well, this person, a lot of people have been wanting to see back. They definitely are still really entrenched in the challenge. They've started from Big Brother, but then they came on over, and I just feel like we never really had enough of them. So of course, well, I don't know if it's an of course, we got to have Davon. She's from this era, right?
Yeah,
I'd
she's
assume.
my number
Yeah.
1 for the.
She's on my
number one for
list
the
too.
female.
She's on my
Like,
list
we
too.
gotta have Davon. Her commentary is amazing.
Yeah.
She is not super strong, but I feel like she would have
She's smart.
worked out. She's smart. She likes strategizing. She comes from a strategic show. She kind of got partnered with Bear, which is like, like, I mean,
Ugh.
blessing for our confessionals, but like, man, poor thing, like having to have a season where she had to kind of work with that person. So I feel like Davon is somebody that I would love to have received the call. Being on that season, I think it would have been a good season for her to make a return into MTV The Challenge. So
Yeah.
Davon is my girl.
queen.
Yeah, she was
Minimalist.
she's my number 3 overall woman, number 1 for tier 4 or era 4, sorry. And yeah, like Devon obviously is like still part of the challenge world with the podcast. Honestly, I was pretty surprised that she didn't make the comeback here, given it was such a big season. A little disappointing. Obviously, like Devon is great, like confessional gold. I think she's made a name for herself, and I'm sure she got the call. So I would love to see her back. I worry the fact that like she's not coming back here. Like, does that mean she'll never come back? But Devon, like no brainer. Like I think like lock for the list. Like we don't even. She gets a spot regardless if we
I've
didn't
already written it down.
name her.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, there's no. Do you have anything else to say about Devon, Michelle?
No, I love her, and yeah, I knew she was going to be on the list. Of course, we need her.
Devon would have ate Josh
Yeah,
alive.
she speaks so well. Like every time, she's just so iconic. Her confessionals, she knows how to deliver, and she's just so authentic. I love her so much.
So
Yeah.
someone says that she might have been under contract with that Amazon show still. Do we know what that Amazon show is?
Yeah, she's filmed a show that I don't know what the release date is, but it filmed a while ago and the release got pushed back, like similar to All Stars 4. So I don't know. Yeah, it's possible maybe she's under contract elsewhere. Um, but yeah,
Oh, the
I don't
goat. I
know.
forgot about
The
that.
goat, yeah.
Totally forgot about that show. Okay, yeah. I wonder when that's actually going to come out. Okay, got it. So yeah, that's a very big possibility that she's still on contract there, and so since that hasn't been released yet, she can't do other things. Very possible. Well, that's sucks. Okay, so I had those two. Okay, so I like a little bit of drama too. You know, I don't only like strategy. I feel like this person would
Wait, isn't
bring.
it
Oh,
Matthew's
oh,
turn?
you didn't do it yet, Matt?
Well, you
You
did
sure?
No,
Davon.
I
I
did.
was
Well,
confused.
I said Raven as mine.
Okay, keep on
I think
Oh,
going.
it's
Whatever,
yeah,
doesn't matter.
yeah.
go ahead.
You can go again. We'll go back in the snake.
Okay, so this person is another drama person who got her start in the reality TV world on Bad Girls Club. When she foraged over to the challenge, we get her hooking up with bananas. So I want to go with Angela. I want to see Angela back. Give me Angela, the original BBL of the challenge.
Yeah, I honestly didn't even think of Angela as I was going through the list. Like I didn't have her on my list. Obviously, she brings like a lot of like chaotic energy. I don't know necessarily if she would ever have a chance of doing well on the challenge. I wouldn't mind seeing her again, but I personally like had not even considered her here.
I
And I'm
just saw her
surprised you
name
did,
and
to
I
be
was like,
honest.
oh my God, I miss you. Oh, why
I
is
love
congratulations?
Angela. I'd be down to see her, but not no. She's not on my list. I thought of her and
Yeah,
I was like, nah, but I like her.
Uh,
yeah.
I'm
Isn't
not
there?
her.
I
Like
think
I
I'm
like bringing the jokes sometimes.
Yeah, she
No,
was
it's
like she
great.
had like a very memorable appearance on X on the Beach, I think.
Yeah.
Challenge. I mean, it would be fun to like see her back. But yeah, even when I like had it down to like 100 people, like I don't think I had her there even. Um, so
Like this alone should have gotten her cast, you know? Like, must we
yeah.
forget? Must we forget?
I just thought there was a lot of like, or not a lot, but I think the names that we still are gonna discuss here are just gonna definitely overtake her, unfortunately.
Okay. Anyways, people do not agree that Angela
Um,
should be here. So who should be here instead?
yeah, so my number
Uh,
4
Oh
woman, I
yeah,
think is like
yeah, yeah.
pretty
This is
obvious
probably
one. Again, she is an alternate on this season, so I put Big T as number 4. Um,
okay.
Obviously, like similar to Melissa. Also, part of the reason I didn't have Melissa was because I just prefer Big T personally. I just think her like story at this point is like a
Did you
little bit
watch Big
deeper.
T's uh
Home
what's it
turf.
called? Home turf. Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I thought it was good. I thought it was really good. And like obviously like Big T's playing for a lot more than like some other people. So I think Big T's just like a natural fit. So I know you mentioned like you didn't include the alternates. I personally did. And I just think Big T like definitely like five if you're gonna add five new women from this era, she's like pretty up there in my opinion.
Yeah, I can agree with
Love.
that. I didn't include her because of like the alternates. I didn't like think of that. But I don't have a perfect five, so yeah, I would definitely put her in there probably. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I love Big T. Big T is the best. I would love to see her in the season. I didn't think of her as well for the fact that she is part of the cast of season 40. So she did get the call. And so I didn't have her as a spot, but I would love to. She deserves to be on the season. So the fact that she's an alternate is a bit of a pisser for sure. For
Mhm.
sure. Okay, so who else instead then, Michelle?
Well, I'm happy to have her, but another option, and correct me if I think she's after 31, is Georgia.
Correct. She
I,
is.
I I thought of Georgia just because I understand there's probably more important people in terms of the scope, but I love how she plays. I feel like she had to go into so many eliminations. She made a mark. I feel like we haven't seen her enough, and now that Bear will never be on, I would love to have her back, and I feel like it would be great if she was on season 4, our version, season
Yeah.
80.
Yeah, I had
Um,
Georgia as an honorable mention. I think like she was very fun on her couple seasons. I think she might have gotten into a little bit of trouble off the show. Uh I don't want to
yeah.
like if I'm wrong, I apologize, but I think like there might have been
Yeah.
some controversy. So
Yeah. Well, I believe like Halloween costume blackface vibes is
Oh, I didn't
something
know
that
any of that.
he
Okay.
it had to live through. Also, yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Dabu here. Is that she really? She annoyed me so much of on Love Island
Oh,
All
see, I
Stars.
didn't see that. She's never had the chance to annoy me.
She like is almost the worst. I'm just like I can't stand you. So
Okay. You
mhm.
know
like
what?
yeah.
That's fair. She's not on the list. She's not on the list, you guys. She's gone. Cut.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We already have one blackface on the Challenge 40. I guess we don't need two. One is one too many.
Yeah.
So we have
Yeah,
Emily
that's fair.
Schramm. We don't need Georgia as well.
100%. And just
Yeah.
like I probably would have agreed with you, Michelle, if like
Yeah.
maybe
She
if Love
wasn't.
Island didn't happen, but Love Island did happen and she was insufferable.
Okay. I'm sure if I watched it, I would have agreed with you. So 100%.
Georgia
100%.
should hook up with
Georgia's like
Josh.
someone where if you just looked at her two challenge seasons, it's like, yeah, no brainer. She should be back. I think it's just like everything after that. It's like, maybe not.
Yeah, Amali here is saying after seeing Georgia on Love Island, I'm good. She's so bad.
Should I offer I haven't should I offer
Yeah,
another?
let's go.
Uh Cam, is Cam from 31
I
onward?
believe so. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
figured Cam
So
would be a namesake, maybe.
yeah, Cam was like one of the people that I had as like obviously I would put them on, but like there's just no way they would do it considering she just had a baby like 2 days before.
True.
Obviously like if we're not being realistic, like yeah, Cam like no doubt is on the cast. So she was like the one person for this era that it's like yeah, well if she would say yes, like she's there. Um but like if I'm being realistic, like obviously like she's not going to be there.
Well, we're not being realistic, so Cam makes the cut.
Woo!
Cam
Mhm.
is on the list
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, she's a lock. If she's physically able to be there, like she needs to be there.
100%. Yeah, we don't know that she's pregnant or she just had a baby. Like she needs to be there. Um, gotta love some Killer Cam. I'm really excited to see her and Lloyd Roy back on our screens. I just want to see like what's changed, what have they learned, like how they've grown as a couple. Like I'm excited to see them back. So I would love to have seen Cam on this season and a little bummed that, that she's unable to be here for this. I know she created life, so I can't be selfish here, but I would have liked to have seen her. Okay, I have somebody else. Not my favorite person. But some people have mentioned this person in the chat already. She did make an impression. I did find it comical that she did make it to a final, but multiple times ran the wrong way. I find her to be quite annoying, but she might be decent on our screen.
Whoa.
Oh,
Natalie.
I forgot.
I'm shocked.
Wait, what's her name again? Natalie?
Natalie Negrati.
Oh, right. I forgot about her. She was there for a while. She was like,
She was like partners with Polly,
and she was good at eliminations, but she was, I don't
really
know.
annoying. Absolutely,
She's a boo for me. She's a boo for me.
Yeah, she's a boo for me too. I'm shocked to hear her here.
It's all
Yeah, if the
for
chat
the
is not liking
memes,
that,
okay?
I think the chat are gonna like my final two people. We'll get to them in a bit.
I'm
Natalie for me
excited.
is just like, I do not want Natalie back. Like she just like she went far, and like her whole storyline was like this like fake romance with bananas, and like it got to a point where like me, like someone who doesn't like bananas, was like siding with him because like she was just being so annoying about their whole like will they won't they kind of relationship. Yeah, Natalie for me, like I'm really good on seeing her moving
All right,
forward.
well, who do you have then, since you're pandering to the
Yeah.
chat?
Okay, so my number 3 person, they actually only were on one episode of MTV, but they made a massive mark on the USA version. So for me, like Michaela Bradshaw,
Oh my god, yes.
technically
I have her.
she
I have her.
qualifies because she was on MTV, even though it was only one episode. Michaela is like someone that could win 100%. Like strategically,
100%.
like she knows what she's doing. Physically, like she's great. Honestly, like she could have won her season, but she chose to skip the checkpoints and run instead of take the ATV or whatever. I mean, Michaela is just like reality TV gold. So
Yeah.
even though she was only on one episode, she, in my opinion, deserves a spot.
I think she totally deserves a spot. And I forgot, like, I had her written down. I have her written down, but then I was like, oh no, she hasn't been on MTV. And I like was like, oh right, because I forgot that was like an MTV season where with the whole whatever notebook gate situation. She's so good. She's so entertaining. She's amazing at the game. I love Michaela. I want her on a season with like Davon and Cam. Could you imagine? Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
I would just that they would, yeah, that would be life.
So I too forgot about Michaela. Like I remember before when Matthew and I were talking about doing this, I remembered Michaela, but like when I was actually writing out the list, I forgot about her. And like not because she didn't make an impact, it's just because she wasn't on like at the top of mind of all those lists that I went through, you know? And so
Yeah.
for the MTV portion of it. So I love her. I would more than welcome her on season 40. She definitely deserves, in my opinion, to have received a call on the, was it USA? Anyways, whatever season she was just on that she got to final 3, I thought that she was great. I love her. So yeah, she's in for me for sure.
Yeah.
I it's easy to forget because most of her memorable moments were on USA, so it's easy to forget she was on MTV. So kind of a cheat because she was only there one episode, but
Amen.
let's
She
allow
meets
it.
Love
the
it. She makes the
criteria.
list.
I'll just do my last woman as well, while we're at it. So number 2, I think like kind of obvious one. I think Amber B is like certainly like deserving of consideration. Like she's had storylines, like not the most entertaining, but I think she's like gotten a tough break with like being like left out of the bets, like somewhat bullied. Obviously, like she had her autism diagnosis on her most recent season, and that's been like a major kind of turning point in her life, is along with having a kid recently. I don't need her boyfriend back, but I think Amber
True.
definitely is someone that will be in the mix moving forward, and she was honestly my number 2 for female era 4.
MV says that the way the production told Amber she didn't fit the theme, but cast KZ regardless.
Yeah,
How
it's
does she not fit the
ridiculous.
theme?
Yeah, the theme is literally eras. Like literally everyone fits the theme. Um, and they have like Aviv there who it was she won on as well, but it was only on one season. So Amber definitely
She
fits the
definitely is a
theme. And
snub here. It could
She's
maybe
definitely snubbed. Yeah.
she's like
honestly, I'd put Amber on over Olivia as well. I'd put
100%.
Yeah.
her on over like I honestly would put her on over Jenny West. Like to me, like Jenny's like
Yeah.
stronger physically, but Amber offers more in terms of like the drama and like the
She
storyline.
does offer more
But
because
yeah,
she
they don't like
also
it.
always has she always has enemies. Like she always has people against her. And so that's more entertaining. Like Jenny always just goes with like bananas and like what like I just feel like Jenny's again so like laissez-faire that I feel like it's less entertaining to watch.
Yeah, I think that that's definitely Amber here is a snub. I would 100% give her Olivia's spot. But I guess I think that they like what the people that Olivia's bringing in. It's kind of some new fans, people from Love Island. I think that maybe Amber I don't know though. She'd bring in more people than Jenny West, so I'm not sure
I
why.
think Jenny West, they just look at it as like, oh, like let's get like the best of the best. And like Amber B was like a great winner, like in terms of final, like she was a great finalist. But I think like Jenny, like looking at her on paper, it's like, yeah, like she's probably better overall than Amber. So I think they kind of were leaning a little bit more on like the physical side. Um, I personally wouldn't go that route. And you guys know that about me. Like I don't really care about that as much. But yeah,
Ronald
that's
here's
my last female here.
Amber is my girl.
You
She is really underrated and she'd be a huge threat in the final.
for
Absolutely.
sure.
I would have liked, and
Yeah.
she wanted to be on 40. That sucks that she didn't make the cut
Yeah.
over, or not even an alternate here.
Yeah. I don't
That
even think she
sucks.
got a call from what I understand, but it's too bad because like she is someone that like should be like one of the faces, but I feel like she's gotten a raw deal from cast and production, which just really
Who's the
sucks for her. She
alternate
seems like the
for
like sweetest person.
Era 4? Who's the alternate?
Uh, Big T is the alternate.
Is there still one? One
I think
female?
so. Yeah, at
And who's
least
the
I
male
know
alternate?
Fessy.
Oh, right. Okay. Okay. So we have our list for Era 4. So for the men, again, we have Turbo, Kyle, Joss, Johnny, and Corey. And for the women, we have Melissa, Davon, Cam, Michaela, and Amber B. Is there anybody that we haven't mentioned that maybe should have made the cut? If we want to
I
put an
like our
alternate here,
list.
I like it too. I mean, I
Yeah,
don't
I
really
think that's
care
a
for this
good list.
person. I had like Kayla as just somebody that I wrote down. I was like, oh yeah, Kayla. Yeah.
Oh, well, Kayla's. I actually have Kayla on my list but she's the era before.
Is she? Okay, great.
She's
So
yeah,
I'll
I
put her
have
then maybe
her
on the
there.
air before.
But yeah, we'll get to her in a bit. But yeah, I think that's a good list so far, or a good list for era 4. Um, we can
I
move on to
it's
era
like that
3.
season would be epic, like so far. Okay, so good.
Yeah,
Yeah, Dreadful Ruby
I
thinks this
think
is a solid list for sure.
yeah, I think that's I definitely think it's good. For yeah, women's side, honestly, like the women's side is always better on the challenge. Like for real, the real challenge for mock casting, the women are just way better on the challenge than the
Yep.
men for the most part. And it sucks that like all the faces of the show are the men, like Jordan, Banana, CT. Like I get Wes, I get why they are, but like man, the women are so good on the show in terms of entertainment, and they get like way less credit, and it's very unfortunate.
Well, like they don't get called back, and then they don't get to build like a legacy necessarily. You know what I mean? Like it seems like production doesn't take chances on building legacy of the women, and they'll do it for the men. Seems.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's go to era 3. So seasons 21 through 30 is where these challengers had their first appearance. I mean, we might as well start with Matthew again. Matthew, who do you got for your
I was
man?
gonna say, like, maybe like out of like respect for everyone's time, like, would it be easier if like each of us just goes through our list of the eras instead of going
I
one by
know I
one? I
would.
feel like it'll just be a little bit quicker.
how about we just speed it up, just and then we just won't talk about everyone because like I have some of mine. I have like more people, so depending on what you guys choose, you know what I mean. So
Oh, I'm just saying like I'll just like do my list of like era 3 men
okay,
and then like unless if you want to go one by one, that's fine. But
No, it's okay because he
whatever's
can do
easier.
his list and then we can figure out how many we have that align with that and don't align with that. You know what I'm saying? Since he
Yeah,
has
and
like
then
the
like
official.
and then whoever I don't have, like Michelle can do, and then Chantal you can do, and then we'll do the reverse
okay,
for
let's
like era
go.
2 and 1. All right. So we'll go men first. Like my fifth man was again, this is gonna be controversial. I actually did put Zach Nichols here as my fifth man. Obviously, like very like controversial. But I just think like he's like obviously made a mark on the show. It's like someone that's like been around a while, like has a lot of memorable moments. So I did put him there. I actually struggled quite a bit with the men for eras two
Yeah.
and three. But I did have Zach at 5.
I had Zach as like a mention. But I didn't really have like a super good list for this era. I kind of just wrote down a bunch of names of people that I wouldn't mind seeing. But I think Zach, as much as like he's annoying, as he's you know controversial, that he didn't treat Jenna very well. He does have a podcast. He does talk about the challenge. Like he is kind of still in the world. He talks to all the new era people. He has his opinions. And so I want to see if he's a better player nowadays. Like he wasn't that great before. He was quitting on Laurel on the final. Like he just he's just kind of a sucky person. And but I think that I wouldn't mind seeing him on 40. He should have gotten a call. Even though I
I
think he said he didn't
well,
want to be
I
on
will
it.
never agree to that, but it's okay. I understand. But I can never agree to
Yeah.
seeing Zach on my screen. I hate him. And I would pick Frank over him 100%,
Oh,
in my
so
opinion.
well, while we're
You'll
on
have a
Frank,
chance to because Frank's on my list.
yeah, Frank's my number 1 for this
Oh,
era.
okay. Okay, great.
So
Like yes,
yeah,
yes, yes.
to me,
Okay.
like Frank, like he is like kind of like Turbo too, where
Yeah.
he is like very like chaotic. But the difference between him and Turbo is Frank actually can strategize too. So he's like a better version of Turbo, which is crazy to say.
I love Frank and and he would bring so much chaos and I would love to see Frank on the show. Um Definitely a snub for me. And one of the only ones that I can for sure say is in era 3 because this is where it gets muddy for me, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah, it does. It gets very muddy. Like era 2 and 3, the men, like my next 3 guys are very like out there. So or before I get to that, Chantal, do you have anything about Frank?
Yeah, I mean, I think Frank. Well, he was my what I wrote him down second, but he's definitely like my one guy pick here for this era. I he's great. He causes fights. He's physical. He would be representing LGBTQ community. And he's willing to go up against people that he doesn't like. Like he doesn't pander. He doesn't back down, and we need that in a challenger. Yeah, if Gwibble Gwabble here says Frank is so extra. I love it.
Yes, we love
He's
extra.
extra. He
Exactly.
is extra. So I'll take Frank. I would take Frank over Zach, but we're gonna get them both. So Frank and Zach both make the list.
Yeah, it's slim pickings.
Okay, who else you
So I'll
got?
go to so my number 4 was Johnny Riley. Which is kind of out
Oh,
there. It might be because I'm rewatching Portland right now. He's like very chaotic as well. Definitely
fair.
don't expect him to make it here. But yeah, I was really struggling with the this era. I personally like I said, I had Hunter as an alternate. Like obviously like Hunter is like a bigger name in the challenge than Johnny Riley. And definitely a bigger name than the next 2 people I'm gonna say. But I just
Really?
personally don't like Hunter.
I personally
And
don't like Hunter
Johnny
either.
I don't
So,
really like Johnny Riley either or Zach, but
yeah.
yeah, it was tough.
Oh, I don't like this era that we have right now. Okay, give me
Sarah,
some other
Yeah.
names. Give me some other
wait,
options.
wait,
Okay, so
wait.
yeah,
So
let me just do
wait,
my I'll do my last 2 here.
Johnny was on your list.
Johnny was on my list because
Mhm.
I was just really struggling. Um, and then The next person on my list was actually another very surprising one. Was Preston.
Preston's on my
Is
list.
he?
I can get down with that. I love
Yeah,
I
I just
love
Preston's
Preston.
very fun. He's
He's fun.
underrated. Like he's a good character, and I'm just like, you know what? Like, what's Preston been up to the last 10 years? Like, let's get him back there.
Yeah, I could see him on like an all-star season instead, maybe or something, but I would have loved to see him on it. Yeah, I like him.
Yeah.
Preston.
So yes, Preston did make my list as well.
Amazing.
He's another person that is just willing to clap back. He's just yeah, like he's a vibe, says Mocha Rain here. Definitely a vibe, definitely a vibe. Dabu's rewatching is commenting on you rewatching Portland. Sweet Jesus.
Oh, it's a trip. That
It's
season is like one of the craziest seasons of TV I've ever seen. Like rewatching it, it's even crazier because now like I've seen Jordan a bunch, Anaya a bunch over the last few years, and like going back and seeing Jordan then, it's like
oh,
man, like he's like a dick now, but back then he was way worse.
I
I
used to
really
hate Jordan.
didn't like
I
Jordan.
really was not a
It
Jordan
took me a
fan
long time to
back
get over
on
that.
season. Yeah. Same.
Definitely a long time. Preston is fun, but probably a first boot. Potentially, you need
Yeah.
those though.
You
You
need
do
them,
need those
yeah.
people. But Preston is on my list. Look at that.
Great. Oh, I'm glad to hear that it wasn't like completely random.
Oh.
The last guy on my list, I think, will probably not be on either of your lists, and you might like even like struggle to remember who it is. But this guy was like a personal favorite of mine, Michael Ross,
I don't know who that
Leroy's
is.
on Rivals, the
Oh, I
nerdy
saw.
guy
Yeah,
who hooked
Like
up with
Mike.
Paula. You have him
Mike is
too?
on my list.
Oh my god, yeah,
I wrote
he is
Mike.
just
I
so
love
funny.
him.
he's so cute.
He was he's the yeah, he was so cute. Like his relationship with Paula was like one of my favorite showmances ever. Just like the classic like nerd, like out of his element. He is so funny that like he was my number two, like behind Frank, he was my number two guy here, just
Yeah.
because his one season, like he'll never come back for sure. But
He
that
made the
maybe All
final.
Stars, he made the final. He ended up quitting, but I don't blame him. It's like this is not his game. I love Mike.
I love like him and Leroy's relationship, obviously from the real world, like just one of my favorites. And then when he had to come because Adam got kicked off or whatever happened, I forget. But when he joined and they got to be like best friends and just everything about him is so funny to me. And I have him written down, but I forgot like what if he was in era 2 or 3. I just like lost track. But
He was
I
like
know
right on the
he's not
cusp.
like it obviously makes sense why he wasn't invited, but on our list, I think he totally is on it. Unless there's someone else, Chantele, that you think
I
is
didn't remember about him until this moment, and I would be happy to have him get the call.
Like if
He's
he
so
popped
cute.
up on All Stars 5, I would
We would be
lose my
screaming.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah, we would be screaming. He's like I want to know like how if he's older, more mature, like how's he like
hey,
I don't
if they
know.
brought Jay back for All Stars, they can bring Mike back for an All Star season,
Mhm.
maybe.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'd rather him over like Jay. Like
Yeah.
Jenna's
Oh, for
Jay.
sure.
Well, of course. So this is true here. So Willie says, "Go by guys. I hope Shane or Marlon or are next." Is Shane from this era? I thought he was from the era too.
No. No,
He's from
Shane
Era
is Era
2.
1. Shane's Era
Pardon?
1. No, Shane was from Era 1.
Okay, so I'm like, I thought he was era 2, but
Oh yeah, I think he's like season 9 or 10, right?
Yeah, Shane is like very OG. And trust me, we'll get to
We'll
Shane.
get
That's
to
for
that.
sure.
Yeah.
but I didn't have Marlon down here, but it's not because I didn't want to. I think that Marlon deserves to get a call.
I
So
think Marlon does too. Is that 6 then? Is that too many?
no, it would
Well,
be
I
Who do
would
we
5.
have?
personally put Marlon over Johnny Riley for sure.
Me
Now that
too.
I think about it,
I
I
would
must
have
have
Me
just
too.
forgot about Marlon, but
I would put Marlon above Johnny Riley for sure.
I didn't write down Johnny Riley because I
Oh,
didn't
okay.
have Johnny on my list,
okay.
and
Okay.
I don't care for him really. He could be an
Yeah,
alternate,
me neither.
fine. But
So
I
who
think
do you have
Marlon
anyone
is
else
way
left,
better.
Chantel?
Hold on 1 second. Let me just pull up Marlon's picture. first.
Or Michelle, do you have anyone else left from this era?
For guys, no. That not that I know of. I think most of mine are from 1 or 2 at this point.
Okay. Yeah, the
So yeah,
only like
go ahead.
oh sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. No, no, go.
Was he? Who was he having a flirt mess with? Was it Jemmy? Was it Jemmy
I
one
think maybe on
season?
X on the beach, maybe they
Oh,
were having
okay.
some.
But he's willing to hook up. Like, he's strong. I feel like he hasn't gotten a call often enough. And so yeah, this is definitely. I think Marlon is a snub for this era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He definitely could have gotten a call. I would definitely have enjoyed seeing him. Marlon for sure. I don't know how he and Jordan go on their run, and he only comes back once, if that.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Oh, MCV says that Marlon got called but dropped out when he was set to be an alternate.
Yeah, I heard that they asked like 20 people to be alternates. Like they just had a shitload of alternates. So I wonder if like he was like one of those people and it's like, hey, like realistically, I'm not
Like,
gonna make it. So
yeah.
um yeah. Obviously like he hasn't been a priority for them for whatever reason. But yeah, I like Marlon. Like definitely like I don't know how I missed him there. But yeah, I rather him than
I
some of
guess.
those other people.
Well, we don't have all the Real World Portland people that are on the actual season, so it wouldn't be just Era 3 is Real World Portland.
Yeah. Do you
Okay.
have anyone else, Chantele,
So just
for the men?
honorable mentions. If I might have messed up the eras, not sure, but Dustin, didn't Dustin make his
Yeah, he
debut?
was he was my other honorable mention as well. Him and Hunter
Yeah.
were my two.
I thought about
Hunter's
him.
an honorable. Dario, honorable
Nah,
mention, maybe.
boring. Boring.
Too
Maybe.
boring,
It's a
yeah.
twin, right? I love twins. Chet, maybe, you know.
I thought about Chet, but I was like, I love
Uh,
Chet. I would love to see him on All Stars, but
JD. I just remember like him a little bit. You know, when I saw his name, I'm like, okay, I haven't seen him in a while. Like it could be a face that like I'd be interested in seeing pop up again. And then just for jokes, Vince.
Oh, yeah. I was like thinking Vince, like, no, I can't have Vince there. But
That
yeah,
was for
Vince,
the
like to
joke.
me, like, yeah, Vince is like Zach, but like worse because like at least Zach has like done stuff on the show. But they're both just like incredibly offensive and like huge assholes. But at least like Zach has done some shit there. But yeah.
So that would mean our list right now for the men of era 3 is Zach Nichols, Frank Sweeney, Preston Charles, Michael, was it Goss is his last name? And
Off.
Marlon.
interesting
Marlon.
list.
I don't love that. It's a weird one, but it's like good enough, I think.
I think Michael makes it softer.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah,
Imagine like Michael
exactly.
going against
Oh my god, have I got a nickname?
Turbo.
I'm into it.
Chantal.
Control. I think Kahada's from the season before, the era before, no? I wrote his name down
Yeah,
somewhere.
Kahada is era 2.
He's there too.
Okay, because someone's saying Kahada. And yeah. Okay, so Michelle, what's your women looking like on era
Okay.
3?
Era 3. I'm gonna go with Ashley Mitchell.
She's my number one
Yes.
Yeah, of
by a
course.
mile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's on my list, but I'm like,
Queen of Era 3. In terms of people that haven't been yet.
mhm.
She's one of the first people that comes to my mind personally.
The women are going to be ruling this era 3 as well.
The women for the era 1, 2, and 3 are absolutely iconic. But era 3, the women are completely stacked. And Ashley, like before we move on from Ashley, the fact that she's not on season 40 is a complete disgrace. Like I get it. Like
Disgrace.
she said some things
Absolute
that were
disgrace.
offensive. But fact of the matter is, Ashley, who is one of the faces of the women over the last 10 years, not being there. Meanwhile, they're willing to like bend over backwards to get Jordan to come late. They're getting all these other people, like someone like Jordan being there. And I'm not saying Jordan shouldn't be there. I absolutely think he should. But the fact that like Jordan's there and even like Naya is there, but Ashley is like essentially banned from the show it's completely ridiculous, and she needs to be there because
Yeah.
her being there makes the season that much better. And she's one of those people that has an impact on a season like that, where her showing up for 2, 3 episodes even makes the show better than how it will be without her. So that's my rant on Ashley. She's my
Well,
number one overall and for the tier 3 women.
so
Yes.
MV here says that apparently Ashley did get the call and then they ghosted her. So they didn't call her back for the season. So I wonder if maybe Josh became a lock and then like, oh, now we can't have Ashley because Josh is saying yes or is in. But
It could be
yeah.
a
Josh
multitude of factors.
Yeah, Josh has gone like on the record saying like he thinks Ashley should be back and he would do a season with her. But it's other people that say like there was a Challenge Mania event where like I think like Tori and Anissa were saying like absolutely like Ashley should never be back. And they were more against it. I don't think Josh has the pull to like control casting, but I do
I
think
don't
other
know. He
people
gets
may.
on these seasons. It's like, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's like earned enough to like get himself a callback, but I don't think like if Josh is like, hey, like don't invite Cara Maria, like they're gonna be like, no, fuck you, Josh.
Reality fan here saying that Ashley apparently got a call for All Stars 3 but turned it down. I think she's too young for All Stars 3. I know that they're kind of edging a little bit younger, but I think that she probably felt that she didn't deserve to be in an All Stars 3 yet. Maybe. I don't know, but I wish that she was on 40 because she is up there for sure for me on all sides. You know, she will hook up. I mean, she might have a boyfriend right now though, and she might be living in another country, but she will hook up. She will steal the money from Hunter. Like she will fight. She will do well in challenges. She's also really smart and you know, she's kind of a full like the full package here. So yeah, it's definitely a snub that she's not on this season at all. At all. Who else you got, Michelle?
Oh, okay, let's say well, I also had written down Sylvia.
Yeah.
Um
Is she from this
I
era or from the next
had
one? She's from this one,
she's
right?
from Invasion of the Champions was her first one, which was season 29. And also I have Jenna I put.
Oh yeah. I honestly I forgot about Jenna.
So Jenna and Sylvia might be the only other from that era. Well, wait, what era is Nani from? I forget.
That era.
Nani is in
Oh,
this era as well. Yeah.
okay, sorry. Yeah, so those are essentially the people for me. Like for my list, it would be like Nani, Jenna, Sylvia, Ashley. Those were the main people. I don't think I have anyone else from that era.
I definitely had Nani on my list, so we can talk about Nani here.
Yeah. Nani was my number 2 as well. I just think like I used to love Nani a lot more because she was like, a lot more chaotic. I still like her. Like she's obviously like gotten a little bit more boring over recent years, but like she is like obviously like a legend of the game and a big name.
She's
So
a namesake of the show for sure.
yeah. So I think Nani definitely earns a spot here. So she was my number 2 for this era, for the women's side.
100 MVC says that KZ sucked all the fun out of Nani. Yeah, she grounded Nani. She's Capricorn energy grounding, you know, her my chaotic Aquarius queen here. Yeah, I used to be really excited seeing Nani on the cast because we knew that she was going to hook up, she's going to get messy, she's going to be throwing the cup of noodles onto people. And yeah, Ben here is saying loved when Nani was standing up against Naya and Teresa. Like that was an era, 100%. She definitely doesn't do the same things now, but I'm wondering how she would fare without having the people that have kind of made her have to sit back and chill and like get to the end without doing much work. She wouldn't have any of those people on her season. She would have Ashley, who she is in. Is she? No, she's against Ashley, right?
Well, they're friends
I
though.
think they're
Nani's friends
okay.
with a lot
Yeah.
of these people that other people in her alliance aren't friends with. She was always really good at being friends with all these people.
Yeah, Nani's like pretty good socially, like if not great. Like she's a great social player. Obviously, like she's not the best like physically, but yeah, I think Nani's like pretty like cool with most people, to be honest. Other than like Teresa, who like spoiler alert is on my list for era
She's
2.
on my
And like
list for this era. So
No, but she's era
oh
2, isn't she?
she's era 2, yeah, yeah.
oh
That's
shit.
why I don't
Um
have her.
Sorry, I've had her
but
here.
part of why I want a Nani, or one of many reasons, like yeah, like if we're gonna do a mock cast, like let's get Nani and Teresa back together, which would be fun.
Yeah.
Also,
Uh,
that may actually be why I put Johnny Riley over Marlon, just because Nani and Johnny Riley's playing. But I still
right.
agree Marlon is the better bet.
On the was the day bed, the pull-out couch? What was it?
Yeah.
Ugh. The one night Kahada leaves. Jesus.
Oh, Okada, Nani. Okada would be on this season too. That'd be
No, he's era
messy.
2. Oh
No,
yeah, but
but
he
this season, like
yeah,
he's
yeah,
getting
yeah.
on.
And
Definitely
then
getting
Michelle,
on.
I think you mentioned Jenna. Jenna she was like similar to Cam for me. Like I had her and like, yeah, like probably should be there, but like just had a baby. Although for me, I don't know if Jenna is like as much of a lock for me. Um,
She's not a huge lock for
I,
me, honestly.
yeah, she's up there. Like I'm torn between her and one other. Um,
What about Sylvia? How
but
do you feel about Sylvia?
I personally did not have Sylvia on my list. I'm not a big fan
Fair.
of Sylvia.
I
But I
wrote
don't,
her name
Chantal, did
down,
you
but
have
not,
Sylvia?
I'm not. I don't care.
Fair.
But I do care. I think I'm in the right era for dun da da da.
Yes. So
Oh, Marie.
yeah,
Yeah.
so that
Yeah.
for me it was Marie or Jenna. And personally, like I just think Marie is like offers way more entertainment value. So I had Marie as my number 5, over Jenna slightly.
I agree. She's over Jenna. I would pick Marie.
This
More
season
she
is
brings more. She brings more
she
in
brings
to the
more.
game, to the
Um,
drama, to the
I mean,
life.
unfortunately, Devin isn't on this season, but it would be kind of hilarious just to have like, yeah, them reunited on X, like X on the beach too for them. That would be pretty fun. She did just have a baby, so I don't think that she'd actually be able to come on this season. But we're not being realistic here. We're being fun and we're being messy. So I am happy that messy Marie is going to be on our season of the challenge, season 40. Yeah, she is
Did
chaos in the best
you
way.
did you have anyone else, Chantel, for this for the women?
Which era we're in? We're in era 3, right? Isn't
Yes.
Jemmy? No, Jemmy's older than this. Is Jemmy in this era? Hold on.
I think Jamie might be in
See, this is
era
my issue.
2.
This is where it gets a little bit like, wait, is Jemmy?
I
I
went
feel
off
like
the
Jemmy's
challenge
era
wiki.
2.
Yeah, I think she is era 2. Um, yes.
Hold
She
on. We're
premiered before. She was there before Nani, right?
hold on. Let me see. Sorry. Is she era 2 or 3? Oh yeah, she's era 2. Okay. Um.
Well, one person you
Oh, okay.
mentioned,
Hold on. I think. Yeah. Go ahead.
you mentioned them in era 4, but they're actually era 3, was that Kayla. So I did have Kayla on my
Okay,
list.
I could handle Kayla
Um,
here because I would have had her on my list, but I wasn't sure her era.
yeah, so Kayla is like someone that's like to me, like again, like her and Jana were pretty close, and I just think Kayla is like a little bit more entertaining than Jana. Plus, like I don't really, because I had Zach on my list. I'm like, you know what? I'm not dealing with Zach and Jana, so like give me Kayla
Oh
instead of
yeah,
Jana
no.
here.
Hilarious. I mean, maybe we want to see that. We want to see them again.
So
No, it's
Jemmy
too
is era
toxic.
3. Jemmy is era 3.
That's what the chat is saying. Hold on, no, but hold on. Let me just look. I just looked it up, and I thought I saw her in era 2. Um, she was on
Oh, you know what? Yeah,
30
she is.
30.
She's era 3. She's era 3. She premiered in season 23. So yeah, my bad.
Because yeah, I would take
Uh,
Jemmy over
well,
Kayla
Jenny's
in
in
my opinion.
contention here.
Okay, no, okay, so we're putting
I
Gemma then instead of Kayla, right?
Well, it depends on how many
I
spots we
personally
still
would
have.
rather Kayla, but
Really?
Well, who do we have so far for the girls for this group?
Yes, that did happen.
So who do we have as locks right now? Ashley and Nani and Marie.
Ashley, Nani, and Marie.
So we have 2 spots left.
I would do Jemmy and Kayla,
Okay,
unless there's someone else.
let me just throw my last woman out there then. So my final woman, again, similar to Davon, is very much active in the community. I had Devin
Oh,
Simone as
Devin.
my
Devin was who
fourth.
I was going to pick if Jemmy was in the other era. Hmm.
So I guess between those 3, Jemmy, Kayla, Devin, can we
I
figure out 2?
feel that Jemmy is more of like synonymous with the challenge than Kayla is.
Agreed.
Like Kayla, yes, when she came on the scene, she had her beef with
Well,
Cara Maria. And she obviously did well on All Stars, but like I'm never excited when she comes on my screen.
here's my thing. I might put Kayla over Devin.
Oh,
Like
Yeah. I
Jemmy
think
and
the
Kayla.
chat might have to chime in here because personally, I would go Kayla and Devin. Michelle would go Kayla and Jemmy, and Chantele, would you go Jemmy and Devin? Because then it comes down to the chat because we all have different
True.
options there.
oh boy. I want to see if Devin would be good again. I would prefer to see Devin over Kayla personally.
So you would go Devin, and so we all have different
I would do
answers.
Devin
Yeah.
and Jemmy.
I would do Jemmy and Kayla because I
And
don't
I would do
think
Kayla and Devin.
Okay, so Danny. Okay, so Kayla and Jemmy. That's Michelle's.
that's me.
Jemmy over Kayla any day. So that means Devin and Jemmy. I put Devin since we haven't seen her compared to Kayla and Jemmy.
Okay.
Devin would take it serious, in my opinion. Devin has always stayed in the loop. Yeah, I mean that's interesting too. She has some good takes sometimes on the challenge pod.
I would say personally, I think out of the 3, the only person that I think needs to be there is Jemmy, in my opinion, because
Okay, so
she
let's go
is
Jemmy and Devin then.
she's
I
like
agree with
she's like
Kay
the
here.
era 3 Veronica in a way, but not. But like she serves like entertainment with the confessionals for me. She serves like good amounts of drama and like social strategy. So for me, that's more exciting than Devin or Kayla for me. But the other 2 is a toss up.
Yeah, I agree with the chat here. Not this one, but I think I agree with Jemmy and well, that's what I picked, anyways.
That was your yeah.
Are you going to be? You're going to be okay with this? You're not going to have
Oh yeah,
Kayla
I'm
on
okay
this
with it.
one?
Yeah,
Like,
I'm fine.
is
And
there
then my
you didn't
honorable
find them
mention,
terribly annoying at the beginning of 38? Her and
Kayla.
Sam.
Oh, like I didn't like her when she came back. Well, I mean, it was only one episode, but like I preferred Kayla obviously when she was like single and like really chaotic, and very messy. And like when she was like beefing with like Camilla was fun as well. But no, I get it. Like Jemmy's like also pretty chaotic and like speaks her shit. So that's fine with me. One honorable mention I had was Latoya. But like realistically, like she wasn't around that long, so don't expect her to make it here over them. I just thought like give a shout out to Latoya here.
Fair. So we're
Yeah.
going Jemmy and Devin then.
Correct. So, yeah, for the women, we have Ashley Mitchell, Nani, Marie, Jemmy, and Devin. And then for the men, we have Zach, Nichols, Frank, Sweetie, Preston, Michael, and Marlon.
This is shaping up to be a very exciting cast. I'm just gonna
like,
say
I'll
that.
put together the pictures and like do the snubbed era. Okay, so for the era 2, I hope I have the people in the era 2 properly.
So yeah, Chantele, what you do your men first?
Mhm. Okay, so I have wait, I hope he's from this. Landon was from this era, correct?
No, Landon was from era 1.
Where did he where fuck, I was like but he made his because it wasn't Fresh Meat his first season or was it his second?
No, he won Fresh Meats, but
What was he on before?
He was
Damn
on.
it.
I just know he was on before Fresh Meat.
on like
I wasn't sure,
Inferno, maybe one of
but
the
I know
Infernos, I think.
he's before Fresh Meat because he had Carly as a partner, who was his Fresh Meat partner.
Okay. Oh no, do you know what? I'm lying. I have him in part one as like. Sorry, my messy notes. Okay. Who am I going to go first with? Okay, so I have in here. I have Shane. I have Tyler. I have not because I like Wes because he's in this era too, or is he era one?
Yeah. No, he's this era. Yeah.
Wes is in
Shane
here.
is era 1, but Wes is era 2.
Correct. Did I say Shane? Because I moved him
Yeah,
up
you did.
here. Wes, Kahada, MJ, and then some honorable mentions is Isaac and Adam King.
Love that. I have Wes, obviously. I had Kahada, obviously. So those two are like the most important to me for the guys. And some of these others, I'm not. I think they might be era 1. They must be people who were on like the Gauntlet 3 and stuff. Is that era 1 or era 2?
Probably 2, but I don't know.
It depends when they
I get so
premiered.
confused by like the Gauntlet 1 verse 3.
Okay, I'm just
Inferno 1 verse 3.
Wes and Kahada, and who were the other 3 that you said?
I said MJ. I said Tyler. I said Dummy Bear, and then honorable Dunbar. Remember my Dummy Bear? He was very annoying, but
I did write down Dunbar as a troll. I never liked him, but he is memorable for just never fulfilling what he was like, just always dropping the ball, and having drama. So I had him written down. But I also have the other Frank, but I don't know if he's era 1 or 2. You know the Frank from Gauntlet 3?
Yeah, Frank Roessler.
Frank Roessler, him and Jillian.
Yeah.
The iconic one where they win at the end of Gauntlet 3. So if he's era 2, then I had him as well.
So
Frank definitely Wes.
Frank is era 1. He was season 9. He debuted.
So, these are just
wait,
like
wait,
know.
So,
might have
wait, who?
Okay?
Sorry, who was 9?
Matthew.
Frank
was 9?
Roessler was on season 9, so he'd be era 1.
So he's era 1. Never mind. Okay. But Kahada and Wes for sure.
Okay, so obviously Wes on your list, Matthew. I would assume.
He's
or you
number
didn't put
1
him on
on my
because
list.
he said that.
So,
okay, yeah. So
no, he's number 1. He's number 1.
Yeah, no. So obviously Wes is going to be somebody that we're all going to have on our list. I know he said that he wasn't coming back, and we did think that 40 would have been a season that he'd be like, well, I'll come out for 40, but then I'll go back into retirement. He did just have a child, so he might be focusing on that. So I get it, but I think that he should have been here. I would have liked to see a little Wes.
Yeah.
Anything else to say about Wes? I know he's probably an obvious lock for everybody.
Yeah, he's a lock. Like again, like he was my number 1 overall male on any era, obviously for this era. Just like if you're making a season, like he's getting a call, he should be there. So Wes, like love him or hate him, like no one's gonna argue that he should not be there.
Like a gazillion %. It's wild though that he's not from era 1. He seems like he should be. Seems like he should be. Sorry, Gwibble Gwabble here. We should do a rest in peace for Knight and Diem. I do think both of them I think they're both from the same era. Or Knight might have been era 3, but I feel as though they definitely made an impact on the challenge. I would have liked to see both of them, in general. Like, yes. So rest in peace, Knight and Diem. They definitely made an impact on the challenge, and rest in peace. Okay, so people are mad that I mentioned MJ and Dummy Bear.
I had MJ actually on my list at number 3. Again, like I think the men for era 2 and 3 are just not that great overall. But I did have MJ there mostly because of like his performance on All Stars. Obviously, I'm not like a huge fan of him. I just like figured like going through the list, like he's someone that probably should be there. Dunbar, like I did not have at all. But MJ I did have on my top 5.
100%. Did you, Michelle?
No, because I don't like him, but I understand. What
Yeah,
about
well,
CJ? Is CJ from Era 1 or 2? Or 2? Is he from 2?
CJ's got to be era 2, I would think.
I would take
But
CJ
again, like,
over MJ, but
I would say, well, it's 2 against 1 here. I mean, he's a winner.
true.
MJ's a winner.
Fair.
I can't remember if CJ won.
I don't
What he
think
did that
CJ ever
hall
actually won.
brawl with somebody and was infamous, right?
Mhm.
That was him.
yeah, he went in a Hall brawl against Zach. Yeah, he just made a cut. He was season 19. But CJ for me, like, kind of iffy on that one. Um, Dunbar, don't love. Someone said Tyler. I did have Tyler on my list.
Okay, so Tyler's
Um,
going to make the cut then. Okay, so let's talk about maybe Kahada for a sec. So yeah,
you
I
have
love
Kahara as
Kahada.
well.
I did. Michelle did as well. So and you did not, Matthew?
I actually had him as my sixth. Like I just cut him, but like I get him being there.
I love Kahada, and
So
like
yeah, I'm
he
on
was
board with
great on his season of All Stars when he came back. He didn't leave for it was because what's her name? Casey was pregnant, and so she left, so he had to leave. And I know he's married now, and I think he does have either a child or a baby on the way. But I would love to see a little Kahada. I like him.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just like a really good guy. Not like my type of like person. I mean, person, he's great. I mean, not my type of like person to watch. But like no denying he's just like a really good guy, so can't like argue it much. The only other guy I had was Ty Ruff, like Emily's ex
Mm.
from Real World, and they did X's together. He was like a little chaotic too. Um, but I did have him as my number 5, as just like someone that is like kind of forgotten in the mix there, but did go to a final with Emily, like performed like decently well at times and then like gassed out at times, but very chaotic person too.
What was
True.
his original seasons? I don't. I remember him obviously from the blackface season with Emily. But what was he
Mhm.
from before that? Let me look it up.
I assume his first season was the same season as Emily's, which would have been Cutthroat, I believe.
Oh, so he just
Um,
maybe a one and done.
No, he did this Battle of the
Oh,
X's with Emily. So
that's
he's done at least
22.
2 or 3 seasons.
So he did okay. So he did Rivals, he did Cutthroat, and then he did Battle of the X's.
X's. So yeah, he did a
But
few
he actually
seasons.
placed pretty high in most of them except for Rivals.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
I
yeah,
forgot about him, but I could see him on my list.
and then
What
the
about
other
Adam?
thing is like
Or is Adam more era one?
I don't know. I didn't have Adam regardless, but I just preferred Ty. And then like obviously like the elephant in the room here is like two of the big people that oh, Chantel's gone. But two of the people that kind of like controlled this era of the challenge were obviously Kenny and Evan, which like
Mhm.
they're never coming back. Like I don't think people want them back. Um, but like it's hard to talk. Like the reason it's hard to like go through this era is because so much of the era two was controlled by Bananas, Evan, and Kenny.
Hmm.
Um, Bananas obviously is on the main cast. Evan and Kenny, like we like they're not coming back. So some of these other names, like the Ties, the MJs, like even like Kahada Dunbar, like they don't like stand out overall because we still remember Kenny and Evan, even though now like their kind of image is a little bit tainted. So I don't expect to have Kenny or Evan on this even mock cast. But it does
Yeah,
make Era 2 Man a little underwhelming.
yeah. I definitely at the time I did like Evan and Kenny just because they were just so obnoxious. Like it was just like they were a cartoon character, unbelievable. Obviously, I don't condone whatever they've been accused of. I respect MTV's decision to not have them back on the show for whatever agreement they might have made in court with that lawsuit. So I respect that, but I agree with you. It does make the era a little bit underwhelming because they did dominate for sure. So if you guys just want to remember what MJ looks like, that's MJ. I mean, I remember I was excited to see MJ when he was coming on All Stars, so there's that, right? I was like, oh, okay, MJ, like I haven't seen him in a while. Like, ooh, he looks strong. Somebody said, hold on, that apparently MJ wasn't going to get the call because Janae didn't want to be on another season with him because of the rumors.
Ah.
Did we hear any of that before?
I haven't heard that, but I get it. There were a lot of rumors swirling.
I mean, you know, it was Ben that brought this up. So I feel like Johnny told producers that she would do a season with MJ after Beth exposed them. So, okay. Okay, so far we have in this era, we have Wes, we have Kahana, we have MJ. Does Tyler make the cut?
I personally did have Tyler on my list, so he was my number 4. So
So it's a yes. It's a lock. Michelle, do you have thoughts, or did you have Tyler on that list?
I don't have anyone else really, so I'm fine with that. Because Alton's era 1, right?
yeah.
What do I have? Alton.
So I need Alton, but I think he's era 1.
Yeah, Alton's era 1. He's
okay,
like
great.
my
Then
number
I'm
1
good.
fan.
Then I'm good.
So we're missing one man.
Oh, okay. What about CJ? I guess. Or do we have Dunbar on the list?
Dunbar's not on the list officially yet. I did suggest.
No, I don't like him, but
yeah, I really don't like Dunbar. Like personally, I would rather Ty than Dunbar for sure.
Go for Ty.
Okay, so let's put in. Let's talk about Tyler for a second. So Tyler does make the list because he's on both mine and Matthew's.
Tyler does make sense. I think he probably would have been on my list if I had thought of him.
Exactly. I like Tyler. I mean, I was expecting more from him when All Stars happened because he was talking about big game, and then he didn't get an opportunity to do super well, but he might be able to do better in this season where he has a built-in alliance basically, because he's going to be working together with his era. So let's see what Tyler can do. He's won a couple seasons against all odds, and so yeah, let's see Tyler. And so lastly, we're putting in Ty.
That's who I have. Like Michelle mentioned,
I'm fine with
CJ.
I mentioned CJ, but I would take Ty over CJ. I think CJ I would like to see maybe in a All-Star season. But
all right, then
I think Ty's good.
Stamped.
Cool.
So for men to see era 2, we have Wes, Kahana, MJ, Tyler, and Ty. So 2 ties. Okay, and for the women of this era, who wants to start us off? Michelle?
Sure. My first pick would be Svetlana.
Do I have her here? Is she in this era?
Oh, I have her as like one of the people. It's like she would never come back, but like she's on my list.
I don't care that she's done one season. I don't care. I want her.
It was the duel too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, except
Svetlana is iconic.
This is where I get messy because I don't know who's 1 or 2 at this point, because Svetlana would be my number 1 choice for this, but it could also be Sarah Rice, but I forget if Sarah's 1 or 2.
Sarah's this one.
Yeah, she's this one. She was my like official number 1.
Yeah, Sarah's my number 1 pick for sure.
And then Svetlana was my number 2 of like people that would never say yes, but I still had her there. But so yeah, Sarah Rice, definitely. This one's going to be really hard. The women in era 2 are
This one's so hard. I have a question because there's someone I thought of today when my friend Tanya had prompted me to think of this person. And I was like, oh my God, yes. But I can't remember if they're era 1 or 2. And this person is Jen. Remember Jen?
She's era two,
She's
and I
era
have her on
2,
my
and I
list.
I
have Jen on my
need
list.
Jen.
Jen was my
Jen,
number 2.
oh my God. Remember
Yeah.
how much drama she brought? Like, and she never got a win.
And those eyebrows.
I need
Remember?
Jen. Yeah,
She would like
Jen and
actually like
Sarah.
physically fight people too.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah,
also
so
someone that I
have
feel deserved to have like at least gotten to a final. Like, she always tried so hard, and then she just kind of gets screwed
Yeah.
over in some way. And she did make it to that one final that they were out in the
She
first
got
phase,
fourth
right? Yeah.
place. She got fourth place. Yeah.
So I would take Jen in a second. Definitely on all 3 of our lists. That's really fun, I have to say. Why won't you come up? Come on, photo. Matthew, what do you have to say about Jen?
I love
Your
Jen.
queen?
Like Jen is like super chaotic, and it's like the type of like casting that they just don't do anymore. Um, because like she is like very outspoken, like very like is willing to get in your face. So yeah, she is kind of like a Melissa on steroids in a way. Um, but Jen is awesome. Yeah, I definitely had her on my top 5. That being said, I like 3 of the people that I have that I put as like they would definitely say no are they're gonna push someone out of my list, so it's gonna be really tough because I gotta cut one person still. But it's gonna be hard to cut Jen. Like Sarah Rice was my number 1. Svetlana, I definitely don't want to cut either. Um, but there's still a few really good ones left in this era.
I know.
What
Hold on.
about
Go ahead.
Susie? Is she 1 or 2?
She's era 1, luckily.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
Whew.
Another name and like, oh no, I think that's era 1.
Hold on, just double checking. Okay, I have an era 2 person
Yeah, name them.
that we haven't talked about yet. I believe she's era 2, unless I'm cray. But Paula Walnuts, right? Isn't she era
Yes,
2?
Paula. I have Paula written
Yeah.
down. I just wasn't sure if she was
So-
1 or 2.
Yeah, she's era 2. She was another one like with Svetlana where it's like, hey, she's never gonna say yes, but I'm still putting her there. So her Svetlana, and then the other one is Evelyn. Obviously, it's like the 3 of
Oh, I
them.
thought Evelyn was 1.
Yeah, so it makes era 2 women really tough. Because Evelyn has to be there.
Ooh, boy.
Evelyn has to, Sarah has to, Jen has to, Paula has to. That's 4. In my
then, like,
opinion.
Svetlana, like,
And then
kinda has
Svetlana.
to. That's
Oh,
all
and
those
then
people
there's
were on my
still-
list.
Who else
There's
is there though?
still more people. Like Teresa is era 2.
Oh,
And it's like we already have to cut one person. I had like his honorable mentions, like Mandy, like who had hooked up with Wes. But like that's an honorable mention. I had Janelle as an honorable mention.
me too.
And then another
Tori,
one I
the
actually
other Tori,
had Tori
Brad's
Hall,
Tori.
yeah.
I don't want her. No.
Yeah. I had
She's
No.
still
Casey
was
Cooper,
strong.
I had him.
Who?
Who?
Casey Cooper, I had as like an option.
Oh, she's not 1?
No, she's 2.
Oh no, I have her.
That's
Sorry, I
me.
have her here.
I
Yeah.
would say
Melinda's in this era too, right? She's not on. Yeah, Melinda.
Yeah, I
Okay,
didn't have
damn.
Melinda.
She's
Okay,
on like
well-
in my honorable mention vibes. Teresa's. In
Oh,
that
this is so
year, though.
hard. Okay.
I did put like not that I just as a thought I had them kind of like, ooh, I wouldn't mind seeing Ibis again, and I wouldn't mind seeing Kara again, the like the pretty girl Kara.
Cara Z,
But-
yeah.
Yeah.
To me,
Yeah, so-
okay.
Ooh,
To me,
oh my god.
I just think
Johanna,
you can't do Era 2 in our version of Era 2 without having Evelyn is like, for me, like you have to have her. And Sarah, you have to have her. Like those two, 100%. And Jen and Paula, like to me, those 4. Svetlana, I love her so much. But for Svetlana versus Teresa, I might lean towards Teresa just because she's
Ooh.
done
Well-
more. But I like both of those are up, are
Oh, yeah, I'm really torn because those are the 6. Like we can narrow it down to 6, but we have to cut one. Like Svetlana is like the obvious cut because like she only did one
Yeah.
season. But like
yeah.
the like untapped potential of Svetlana is like very
know.
intriguing to me as well. Similar to what I said about like Johnny Middlebrooks. Like I just like hearing Svetlana is on a season is gonna get me super pumped up. Um, whereas I just don't know who to cut to like
Evelyn's
get
there for
Svetlana
sure.
on there.
Evelyn has to be, and Sarah has to be. Like they've both made such big marks. And then also Jen and also Paula. Like to me, like all four of
So
them
I
are.
honestly, I have Teresa ahead of Jen and Paula. Uh, that's me personally. Um,
I thought of
Jen was
Teresa
such.
after I thought of Jen. So,
Jen was literally part of so many storylines. Like
but you know what
every,
though? I thought Teresa was in the other era. So, I
also like Nani. The reason I want like Teresa, like having her back on the cast with Nani, I think is super intriguing. Um,
yeah, I would
it's
pick
just so
Teresa
it's
over
really hard for me to
Svetlana.
cut here.
To me,
yeah.
I would pick Teresa over Svetlana. Honestly,
Katlana's gonna have to be an alternate in this scenario.
she's gonna have to be an
I
alternate.
hate
Yeah,
making. I can't make her an alternate. It's just it pains me because like we
but
waited all
we.
this time for her.
I know, but maybe like
Uh,
Paula will only do half the season and won't be able to, and then they'll bring
Can we
in
put
Svetlana.
Svetlana over Paula then?
Well, the problem for me is that like Paula has won 2 seasons. She was such a crazy journey. She really was such an important character. And so for me, that's something that I can't like discount. I don't know.
Also, we can't not have Paula because we already have Mike and Ty, who she hooked up with both of them. We need if
Exactly.
Mike is going to be there, we need Paula
We
there.
need Paula. We need Paula. And yeah, I just think that like Svetlana at this point, I think Teresa brings more drama. Teresa brings more chaos, as we saw her
she
do
wants
in the
to
last
win a
season she
little
came
bit
back.
more.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would pick Teresa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely want Teresa on there. Teresa's my number 2 overall for this era. I
Yeah.
love like Teresa to me is just so iconic. So I guess if we have to cut Svetlana, then we have to
Sorry,
make that tough decision.
Steady. Yeah. Oh, Teresa versus Nani, part 485. Yeah. Yeah. This will be epic, epic, epic. So for our women, we're gonna have Teresa, Sarah Rice, Jen, Paula, and Evelyn with Svetlana as our alternate. Sorry,
Iconic.
Steady. That's like are why are we casting? Like this is what should have happened. They should have put the dollars in for this. All right. The last era number 1 here. Let's get it done. Okay, so for the men, I had as my number 1
Landon.
man. I had Alton there. I got
Oh,
Landon.
yeah.
I
Alton and
have
Landon.
Yes. I have Latarian. I have the Miz. I have Abram.
I have
I did not have
Alton,
these.
I have Alton, The Miz, Landon, and I had Abram. So all those are in common. But Abram, I kind of put a little asterisk because I was
Yes,
like, we
it's
know
a
he's
little
not
bit
good, so I
toxic.
probably wouldn't want him on there. But definitely, I wanted Landon, Miz, Alton, and then I just kind of put some names. Like I have like Timmy on there,
Oh, I love
um,
Timmy. Timmy's fun. I didn't
and
have him, but I loved him.
I had Theo also as like a name
yeah,
that I wrote down.
and
Sorry, what were
wasn't
your 4s that we had this similar?
so I had
Um,
Landon,
the
The
Miz,
Miz,
Alton, and Abram.
Alton, and I had Abram, but that was more because I was like, I'll hear what you guys bring to the table. And then I had written down Timmy just because I remembered him and I was laughing. So I was like, well, Timmy, you know? Yeah,
Okay,
that's pretty
so
much all I have.
are you here to upset the apple cart here, Matthew? What do you got?
I'll go through mine. So I have definitely Landon. The Miz definitely. Shane was a definite for me.
Oh shit, yeah, Shane.
Um,
I'll do Shane's mess
Oh,
over Landon over Abram. Sorry.
yes. Shane over
Okay.
Abram. Shane over
Should we
Abram.
watch
and
that
then
video of his?
yeah, it was
Unhinged King.
hilarious. So sorry, Landon, Miz, Shane, Alton I had, and then Yes was my 5th. And then the people I had in contention, you mentioned Latarian, I had him like on the radar.
Mhm.
Um, Eric Neese, I had on the radar as like a
He was on my
OG
radar as
OG.
well.
And then Tech was my last like on the radar one.
Ooh, I love Tech.
I forgot about Tech, but he didn't.
Yeah, really good guys here. But ultimately, yeah, I went with Landon, Miz, Shane, Yes, and Alton for my 5.
I would say, I mean, obviously, if you both have Yes, let's put Yes as the 5th, as yeah, that extra spot. Personally, I would pick Laterian over Yes, but
Mm,
I'm totally fine with having Yes. I can agree because I love the other four so much in those spots. So
mhm.
um yeah.
I'll take yes because he's won now recently. Okay, so let's talk about Landon a little bit. Obviously, everybody wants Landon to come back. If Carly Gunn can come back, then why can't Landon pay him more, pay him what he deserves? How much do you think it would take for him to be paid to be on this season?
Well, considering Trishelle allegedly was offered 25K, I imagine Landon was probably offered the same. So I'd say like maybe double that and you have a conversation. But like the fact of the matter is, like, I understand they pay based off seasons done, which is like kind of ridiculous in my opinion, because like you should pay bigger names more. Like, let's say the Miz was willing to play. Getting the Miz is worth
It's a
more than
get.
having anyone because the fan base he's going to bring in. So if the
Oh my
Miz
god.
says, "Hey, give me 200K," it's like, yeah, give the man 200K because he's going to bring in thousands of wrestling fans. So for me, like Landon should be offered the same as like CT and Bananas. Like, and I'm like, I think that's a no-brainer to me. So if you're offering CT and Bananas and Jordan 100K, give the same to Landon because
Mhm.
people want to see that. That's
We
my
want
opinion,
it.
at least.
Give the people what we want.
Exactly. We want it now. All right. Landon is a lock. Of course, we want to see him, pay him what he deserves, and get him back on our screen. But sadly, I do not think it's going to happen, but we can dream in this cast list. Okay, so next we have, of course, the Miz. We'll just briefly talk about him as well. Yeah, he's married now though, right? He was just on Dancing with the Stars a couple years ago, right?
Yeah.
He was.
He was fun on there. He was like, I
I
liked
liked
his
him.
like he wasn't like a great dancer, but he was like the vibe. He was still the same old Miz, like fun guy. Like I'm not a wrestling fan, but definitely a big Miz fan from Real World and the Challenge. So I think again, like he's like the type of person like the name alone like warrants a spot.
Absolutely. Bring him back. Bring back the Miz. At least for season 40. Like that would have been like imagine he came back, we would be like, what the fuck? Like we would be
Mhm.
screaming because like that would be an insane get.
It
They
would
should
be
have worked
insane.
hard. They should have worked
Yeah.
harder for that one. All right. Then we also have Alton. Of course, he deserves an opportunity to come to season 40. Do we know if he got a call at all or no?
I'm sure he got availability calls just based on like how many people got calls. I'd be pretty surprised if he didn't, but he seemed like kind of like not having his head in the game like his last couple appearances, especially on the main show, which was a while back. So I wouldn't be shocked if he's just like, nah, I'm good here. Maybe All Stars down the road. He did All Stars one, but
He didn't
I
do
like
that well,
Alton,
but
and he's
I
just like a
loved
great
Alton.
competitor.
I love
Yeah,
Alton.
it was mid. His showing on All Stars was mid. It was.
Yeah.
It was. Oh wait, and he had a little thing with Hisela, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, right. Right. And then we have Shane next. It doesn't look like Shane's gonna come back. If many of you might have seen some of his rants about MTV. What do you guys have to say about his rants?
I love it.
Yeah, he is just so unafraid to talk the shit, and I find him so entertaining. I love the Lavender Ladies drama that they bring. Um, I think it's iconic, and I know they won't invite him back, but I think in this mix, like he is such an OG. I love it. I love it. His rants are great. I would love they would never do it, but I would love it.
Me too. Any last thoughts about Shane, Matthew?
No, I mean Shane is just like so iconic to me. He like behind Wes, he was my number two like overall guy. Um, I just think he's like such good TV, always has been, like isn't afraid to like stand up to anyone. I mean, we've seen him go toe to toe with Bananas. We've seen him literally go toe to toe with production. So Shane is like never gonna bite his tongue, and he would always be welcome if for whatever reason production allows him to come back. I would be thrilled.
Jay here is saying that I heard that Jemmy on our podcast said that Shane got an All Stars call and he told them off. Oh man, I guess yeah. One thing you never do is talk against production. Well,
you got to toe the line, and Shane doesn't even go near the line. He leaps over it. You know, like there's some things you can say, like think about Nerys, like kind of saying some
100%.
things, but being okay. But once you get past a certain point, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Bananas is like really good at like talking shit about production, but like coming off like nicer about it. Like on his podcast, he'll always talk about production and like how like they do like a poor job of editing and stuff, but because it's Bananas and he's not being like aggressive about it, like he's not going to get in trouble. But Shane is like overly aggressive, which I love to watch, but in terms of getting a call back, he is not doing himself any favors there.
No, I mean I also think he doesn't care. It's so.
Hmm.
Oh, Tatiana says Shane and Ryan used to date, so that would have been interesting too. Ooh, ooh. Yeah, see, MV says a mannequin should top production and get cast. Yep, she just knows how to do it properly. She just knows how to do it properly. Okay, so we decided that it's going to be yes or Abram. Chat, do you want to break this tie here?
Oh, if it's between yes and Abram, we're picking yes.
Okay.
Well, I thought it was yes and Laterrian.
No, Laterrian. Sorry, Laterrian.
Yes or Laterrian was the question.
I side with yes. I think he brings a little bit more.
I think yeah. So then it's up to you, Chantele. Because
well, I had yes on my list for sure.
So yeah, let's go with yes. Let's go with yes. Honestly, let's go with yes.
So I mean, I know all the reasons why we could choose yes, but Michelle, why were you not necessarily thinking about yes?
I just don't like him, but also that's just such a subjective thing. I mean, he is a good competitor. And I will be honest, I didn't mind that there was like drama with like him and Wes and like there was some like whatever, but I think he's a little too self-righteous on the show. And I don't like the self-righteous players. They bother me personally. But that said, when I'm thinking about importance on the show and everything, now that he's done multiple All-Stars, he is more relevant than Laterrian, and has more of an opportunity to like get far and like do well in a final comparatively to Laterrian. So I think I would in the end actually probably pick yes.
Yeah, I think with Laterrian, like the best case scenario, it's like, oh yeah, like let's hope Laterrian goes into a pole wrestle against Fessy, like or something like that, or goes into a pole wrestle against someone big. But like if he's not doing that, he's kind of just along for the ride a bit more.
Yeah,
yeah.
Let's go with
yes.
Yeah.
Dabu says so. Shane's aggression is good, but Hunter and Rogan's is bad.
Yes. Yeah, 100%.
You can put it that way. Yeah,
it's very different. It's very different.
Yeah, I guess maybe Shane's is I'm not scared of him. I don't know. Maybe like it's just like he's just like just a little more unhinged.
He's not physically aggressive. He's aggressive with his words.
Yeah, and the other two are just I don't know. It has a different energy for me.
Yeah.
Like
also when it comes down to it, it's about entertainment value, right?
Yeah,
and Shane is so much more entertaining than the two of them. They do bring something. I'm not saying they bring nothing, but he is so much more entertaining to watch.
Okay, so that is our Era 1 men. So Landon, Miz, Alton, Shane, and yes. And then Matthew, do you want to start us off for the ladies? What do we got going on here?
Yes.
This is stacked as well.
Do it. Yeah, really great women cast here. So I had number one was Veronica for me. I'm pretty sure she'll be on everyone's list.
Yeah.
Then I had Beth, Susie, Casella, Coral, obviously, but I mean, she's probably not going to do it, but like she's going to be there. And then I had Trishelle and Sarah Grayson was my like honorable mention. I mean, she only had like that one like epic season, but
where she went in
I just
like
thought
5
I'd throw
times.
her in there. Yeah, but for me, like the big 6 were Veronica, Beth, Susie, Hasela, Coral, and Trishelle. But if I'm honorable mentions, actually, I did have Kendall and Julie as well.
Fair.
Um,
Yeah,
I didn't
you go
put
first.
Kendall, but I have Kendall and Julie as some honorable mentions. I also had Keena in there as an honorable
Okay.
mention because she brought some drama. She was good physically. Did she have a romance? I can't remember, but like I feel like
She
she
was
would.
like she was in there for a bit.
She was besties
She's not
with
on my
Susie at the
list.
time, right?
Yeah.
So my list fully was Susie, Coral, Hisela. I forgot which era Trishelle was in, so I thought Trishelle should be there, and Veronica.
I have similar. I have Susie, Coral, Veronica, Trishelle, and Beth.
Okay,
But
so it
Oh,
looks like it's
Beth's an
between
honorable
like Beth.
mention.
So it's between Beth and Hasela, I guess, for the fifth spot.
right. So we
Kinda.
all agree on Susie, Coral, Veronica, Trishelle.
Yeah.
Susie, Coral, Veronica, Trishelle. I mean, I wouldn't. Yeah, I definitely agree with those. If we ended up like cutting someone, if we wanted to include both Beth and Hasela, I'd
I
say
would cut Trishelle.
probably
Okay,
Trishelle.
let's cut
But
Trishelle then. Let's take Beth and Veronica.
Well, we're
well,
taking Veronica
Veronica's there
anyway, but
I'm
regardless,
sorry,
right?
Beth
Hisela.
and Hisela. Sorry.
Yeah, you know what? I would take Hisela over Trishelle mostly because Trishelle's not really interested in the challenge. Like, I mean, she's found a different lane that's working better for her, I think.
Yeah, I
But
just
she
wonder if she's
is
been
up
like.
there.
I wonder if Trishelle's been like rejuvenated in a way to like
Fair.
Mm.
if like she's got the itch after Traders. And honestly, I know like
Yeah.
Traders, the challenges aren't that like intense compared to the challenge, but she did do fairly well.
Yeah,
Um, but
I feel
it's
like
tough. It's a good female side.
I feel like I remember Trishelle more when I think about the first starting to watch the
That's
show. I
true.
remember her. I didn't really remember Hisela at first, and
That's
then
true.
obviously loved her personality on All Stars, like rode for her, was living for that.
She's also good friends with Michaela, though. That would help
Yeah.
Michaela
So
in
like
the
I
season.
would love I think I would prefer to see Hisela back on this cast, but I think that Trishelle is more of a name that is like fills it out in that
Yeah.
kind of way. But we could take Trishelle out because we know that she was given an offer that she turned down. So she's not really a snub, you know?
Carly, we
Yeah,
do it for you
it's
guys too. We know like you guys love the challenge, so we're like, let's give him some more challenge to talk about. Thanks for listening.
to me, like era one women is like as difficult as era two women to make a cut. Cause like you said, like Trishelle, like maybe not so much like known for the challenge, but when you think of the real world, like she's one of the like people that you think of when you
She
think
was
about
the
the real world.
star of like her era. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, like she's
And
one of the most famous people from the real world. She was on like multiple other reality
she was
shows,
on.
and
I think she was on
now
Punk.
she's
She was on.
yeah,
She was in the Playboy Mansion. Was she on Surreal
Fear
Life? Like
Factor,
Fear
Surreal Life,
Factor.
yeah.
She won Fear Factor, I believe. Right?
Yeah. So Trishelle was like big news in the
Okay.
early
Sorry, Hisela.
2000s.
Trishelle is in. I
Well,
think.
uh, well, no, like I'm like leaning that way, and like Hasela, but Hasela was just like so dynamite on All
and
Stars One.
at
Like
the
I
end of the
think
day, we're
she's
So
picking the
what do we
cast that
take out?
we want. We could take out Beth.
Take out Beth. Put in Trishelle.
Beth. It's so hard because Beth is also like an iconic villain, like the
She,
iconic villain. I don't know.
yes,
Is there any merit to? I'm gonna like. I'm just floating this out. Like, is there any merit to taking Susie out?
no. I
Like
can't
No.
Susie's a
part with
lock?
Susie. Susie
Susie
is
has to be a lock. She was my number one on my list for that this
Really?
era.
she's the
Well,
She
first
was
person
ahead
I
of
think of.
Veronica?
Yeah.
well, I mean,
Well,
I thought Susie because I'm like Susie is someone that like we've been wanting to see,
she
and
won
she's
twice. She
And
was
she
really
wants it
actually
too.
strong. She plays a strong-headed like strategic game.
she'd
She
have
can back
Sarah on the
herself up.
season.
Like I just would love to see her back so badly. She's shown interest. They've said no or whatever. I don't know what's actually happened. For me, it was like when I thought season one, I thought Veronica and Susie, kind of like both. To me, those are the
Yeah.
two. And then obviously Coral.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, when
Those
I made my
three,
list, it was much easier to make the list because I didn't include Coral just because like I initially didn't
right.
include
You
people that
didn't.
like wouldn't be there.
that's fair.
So I had all the same people we're talking about, and I just didn't have Coral there. But if we're including Coral, like obviously she gets a spot automatically. So
100%.
I
Yeah.
guess it does then come down to Trishelle or Hasela. Um, oh, it's so
Or
hard. I
taking out Beth.
or taking out Beth. Yeah. Honestly, like as much as
You
like
do
Beth is
not
an
take
iconic
Susie
villain.
out, Matthew. Dare you?
Yeah. No, I'm not saying I would. I'm just saying like hey, I'm floating it
Yeah.
out there. Like, is it an option?
It's not a float.
Um
No.
Beth, like Beth, we've seen her antics quite a bit in a couple All-Star seasons. I don't know, like it's gonna be more or less the same. Like she's gonna come in, she's gonna cause trouble and get herself eliminated early. Maybe
Yeah.
we can just take Beth out, even though she is like very iconic as a villain.
She's iconic, but we're talking about what's going to give us like this cast we've put together. What an entertaining season. And I just think having Hisela and Trishelle with the Susie, Coral, Veronica, that's going to provide, it's just going to provide so much. Every corner that you turn in this cast, there's things happening. So I think that that makes the most sense is to take out Beth at this point. But we
Yeah. I get
recognize,
I get
yeah,
what Disney's saying, like we just saw, but like for me, that's why I want to see her on the challenge. Like I want to see if she's gonna take like her performance on Traders and like do the same thing on the challenge, and like if she has her head in the game, if she's gonna be able to kind of like play well like did on Traders. So if it weren't for the Traders, I probably would have Trishelle off my list, to be honest. But the fact that
yeah.
she did have such a great performance makes me want to see more and see if it can translate personally. But so yeah, I think I'm leaning take Beth out.
Beth's out. She's already. I already scratched it off.
You took her out, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think okay. So we didn't talk about Coral that much. Like Coral, you were saying that you don't think that she'll ever come back, but like, look at this outfit. This era of Coral was like iconic. Pay her whatever she wants. Like, say like, give me $1 million, and be like, okay, fine, Coral. If you're gonna come back, I'll give you $1 million. Like, we would be uproaring with like, what? Like, yeah, we need Coral
I
back.
also
So
Well,
I didn't realize Coral's only 45.
yeah,
Like for some
she's
reason
still.
I thought she was in her 50s for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe that's just on me, but
I think
I didn't
Beth is like
realize
the
that
only
she
female, and
yeah.
Flora.
also, every low key, just because you had mentioned Julie, which obviously she's not in this list at this point, but every time I think of Julie, the only thing I can think of is when she almost killed Jen, I think it was
Yeah. No,
on that zip
The
Veronica,
line.
I
Veronica.
Veronica, sorry, on the zip line. When
yeah,
she started
I
trying to undo her fucking zip line, I will never forget that episode because I think that was back when I used to like rewatch seasons over and over again.
mhm.
Um, and that episode, it always just made me so because like that's my biggest fear, right? Like so watching
That
that.
was the first episode I ever watched of the challenge.
Oh
And I
my
was like, what
Really?
god.
am I watching right now?
That's
Um,
that is ingrained in my memory is her almost killing her and then her being like,
yeah.
Julie's like, what?
That's
God.
why I had her as an honorable mention, really, because just that moment.
Oh my
So
gosh.
here's Hisela. So Hisela, we did see her come
Yes.
back recently. She's really good friends with Michaela, and so like that would be good for this season. That she's gonna have some people that are strong, that are from a different era, that she'll be able to work with. I definitely am excited to see her on this season. I know I was willing to take her out to keep Beth at one point, but as we talk it through, Beth has got to go. Hisela has got to stay, in my opinion. Any last thoughts about Hisela?
That's great. I like it.
Oh,
I like
I'm
we're rounding
shocked
off.
that Hisela has not been back on All Stars, at least. Like the fact that she
Well,
performed
she
so
hurt her
well
leg,
season
right?
one.
Or her knee. So maybe she just
Yeah,
hasn't.
but recover? I mean, it's been a while, right? It's been like 4 years
Well, she's
now.
also like, she's not as physically fit maybe as some others were. And so like maybe it's been harder for her to get back into shape, you know?
Yeah, I'm still a little surprised, like at the end of the day, that she hasn't popped back in. But I don't know. Hopefully one day we see her back. I don't know what the future of All Stars is, but I love Tisella. I forgot about her until All Stars
Me
won,
too.
but
And did we talk about Susie? She's skinny here. So we'll just briefly talk about Susie. So yeah, we talked about her a little bit already. Obviously, she is going to bring some drama. She wants to come back. Let her come back. Like, what did she actually do? Why are they so against her? I'm not sure what happened. Do we know what happened and we've forgotten?
I don't think there's anything
Oh.
specific that's happened because she's had conversations where she's almost been brought
Well,
back.
like, how does Aviv get
Um,
brought back and not her?
yeah, but I mean, for a while, I think it's because she was very outspoken for a bit about problems she had with production, like, and then like her being besties with Sarah and Sarah having issues as well. And for a while, she had said she wasn't ever going to come back, and then she kind of changed her mind over time. So maybe it's a little
Maybe
bit of
okay,
that, but I
someone's
know they've
saying
been in conversation.
maybe it's the I Hate Tanya
Oh,
situation. Maybe she just was looped into maybe that
right.
when people were kind of tormenting
But then
Tanya.
so would Veronica. Like, so would so many of the other things.
I know, like, yeah, I mean,
She's not the only one involved in that. Well, but
Also, the thing
but
about
maybe she
Susie
was
is
in the
like,
lawsuit.
if they ever want Sarah Rice back, like the only way it's happening is if Susie's there. So at this point, like,
exactly.
let Susie back because like we need Sarah back with bananas and like
Yes.
like why do you like you have so many boring people on every season and like Susie's not boring, so just let her come back and see how she does. She obviously wants it, and in my opinion, like specifically with all stars, the best people to have are people that actually want to be there. um
Mhm.
that's like she'd be perfect there, and honestly perfect on 40, and she's like dying to play again, so just let her play. Like she's one of the legends of the game.
MV says, imagine picking Anissa over Susie, Veronica, Coral.
I
Yeah,
know.
not sure what's going on there.
Horrible.
Who else is on our list here? Okay, Veronica, and then I think we're almost done with an epic season on our hands. We should maybe have you ever tried a Brant Steele? That's kind of funny.
I don't think they have brand steals for challenge though, do they?
I think they have it for one, but I don't remember which era or which challenge season that they modeled it after.
Yeah.
So
Mm,
Veronica, of course, she is the original mean girl, badass, multi-season winner. She obviously hasn't done the greatest physically when she's come back, but I still need to see her here. I need to see her just I'm excited to see her back on All Stars 4. And I think that she deserves to get the call for 40. 100%.
100%.
yeah, for sure.
No reason other than she is great. Who we not looked at? Trishelle, is it? Is that it?
Trishelle. We
Yeah,
talked a lot
just
about
for sure.
Trishelle, but that's the
But we
last
I'm
yeah.
one.
just
Yeah.
gonna pull up her little photo for a sec, just for continuity, And like we said, yes, we did just see Trishelle on the Traders. But I want to see if if she now, like, now that she's gotten the feeling of a win, if she's gonna want to see if, okay, well, I can win the Traders now. Can I win the challenge? Because she never
Mhm.
really thought that she could win before, and so I wonder if that, as like you said, has really sparked her into becoming someone that could potentially be a champ on the challenge. So
Nice.
Yeah. And
Love it.
she's been talking a lot about how, like in podcasts, she's been saying, like, yeah, I'm not done with reality TV. Like I have like this like itch to like do more reality TV. Now, obviously, she was offered a spot on the challenge 40, but she turned it down due to money. But I do wonder, like, if they keep calling her, like, she's obviously like still in good shape. Like, she has that itch. Like, she's a big name. She's 44 as well. So I mean, she's got still plenty of years where she can come back. So I do wonder if maybe now it's like a second wind for her, and she
well, like,
could do some
it's
good.
kind of like easy money, right? So I think that she'd be like, "Oh,
Yeah,
I just got a nice paycheck here." Like,
and she
maybe
she has like a certain confidence now from winning Traders because she's had a lot of seasons of the challenge that just like really didn't go her way, and
she
some where
kind of
she left
quits
really
and yeah.
early, or sometimes where she quit, or sometimes where, like she had a slew of like not the best showings. So for her to have such an excellent end game showing, at least for Traders, like,
She was
um,
very good at on the Traders. Like, she
Yes.
deserved to win. She worked hard.
I
So,
couldn't
I
believe they
also
didn't murder
think
her. But
that
anyways, that's a side note.
they should
I,
have,
I also think the
obviously.
thing that
Yeah.
works in Trichelle's favor is she also now has a newfound relationship with CT and Bananas.
That's
So
good.
Exactly.
they're the two faces of the show. So if she's gonna come back and those guys are there, like she is gonna be well protected by both CT and Bananas, who, like, let's face it, like basically walk to the end every season they're on. So if Trishelle was on 40, like she'd probably do well. If Trishelle comes on 42 or 45 and those guys are there, which they probably will be, Trishelle is in a good position where she'll work with them and all their numbers. So I think like now is probably the best time for Trishelle to come back because she might not win, but she could very well go far.
Mhm.
So down here is saying that on watch what happens live, she is getting a bias coach after what happened on the traders, which I think is great because just after the first episode, people were concerned with her subconscious, unconscious biases towards Peppermint. It was why she went so hard with thinking that her facial expressions were the reasons why she was a traitor, and so it's good that she's actually recognizing that maybe something else forced her to be that aggressive in those early stages. So I think that's great because that was part of the conversation. A lot of people, of course, were supporting Trishelle, but the fact that she's recognizing that it was a possibility that she is unaware of, I appreciate that she's willing to go and get more informed. So I applaud. I do. And that's our list. Should I run through it quick? So you
Sure.
can hear it out loud? Okay. Should I start from era 4 again? Okay. So actually, I'll go through all the men era. Okay, so starting from era 4. So we got Turbo, Kyle, Joss, Johnny Middlebrooks, Corey Lay, Zach Nichols, Frank Sweetie, Preston, Michael, and Marlon, Wes Bergman, Kahada, MJ, Tyler, and Ty. And then we got Landon, The Miz, Alton, Shane, and Yes.
Yeah, that's
what a
great.
season! I'll get their pictures and I'll make like little era photos. For the women, we have Melissa, Davon, Cam, Michaela, Amber B,
Yeah.
Ashley Mitchell, Nani, Marie, Jemmy, and Devin. For the women, we have Sarah Rice, Jen, Paula, Evelyn, Teresa, with Svetlana really, really wanting to be on this season for us, almost making it. And then we have Susie, Coral, Veronica, Trishelle, and Beth.
No, not Beth.
No,
Didn't we
Beth.
pick
Sorry,
Hisella?
Hisella. I have Beth scratched out and Hisella. Well, they're both. I went back and forth. Sorry, Hisella, not Beth. Hisella made the
Beth is
cut.
an alternate as well.
Beth's the alternate. If something happens, okay. What an epic season! I would watch.
I know.
I would freaking
Well, I mean,
watch.
we've watched far worse than that. So, yeah, I think the last few seasons we've been able to get through. So I definitely think we could get through this. The women are iconic. Men, it was tough at points to find some good men, but as is typically the case on most reality shows, the men are typically a little bit more trash. Yeah,
Tatiana says
Challenge
the
41.
Challenge 41 Battle of the Snubbed. Like that
Yes.
would be epic. So yeah, I'll post it as that, Tatiana. Or the real cast of Challenge 40. Yeah, awesome. Any final thoughts, anybody here? Anybody in the chat? Thanks for being here, everybody.
Yeah,
If you
this
all
was
could like
epic.
this video, please. This was a fun time. Fun times.
Yeah, no, this was really fun. I guess probably the next thing we'll do will be like an actual draft of season 40. So and then we got all stars around the corner, but this was a lot of fun and
if you have
great
any other
cast, great
ideas,
night.
if you want some off-season pods that we can pop on and do, just let us know in the
Yeah, we
comments
have a few
below.
weeks still. So
Yeah, April 13th, I think, is when All Stars 4 starts. So if
almost a
something
month.
that doesn't take that much effort or energy, something super fun, let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah, good
I
time.
didn't know this was going to go so deep. And you know what?
It's fun. It was
Of
great.
course it did. I'm excited.
Well, thanks for everybody for being here in the chat. Please like this video. Let YouTube know that you enjoy talking about the challenge with us. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already. And ring that bell so you know when we go live for these special off-topic, off-season pods. And yeah, leave in the comments, what do you think about our list? I will put the list in the description box below, and then you'll find on social media, I'll post just putting the photos of these eras together. And yeah, it was a great time, everybody. Thank you for being here. Hold on. Okay, so Fernando's saying I might want to mute All Stars 4 on Twitter since the episode leaked there. There's a lot of spoilers out there. It might already be on mute. I don't know. I haven't seen anything that says All Stars 4.
This is why I don't use Twitter, you guys.
Twitter's so scary.
You can
It's a
mute it.
landmine.
But I love
Twitter's the
I love
worst.
hearing
Like
the
it's the
update.
best, but it's the worst.
Yeah.
It's like, but anyways, I will try to avoid everything. This was super, super fun. Oh, someone's saying maybe doing a fantasy traders cast. That's something we could do.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.